rulers out in the seas, masters of the deep, dolphin mysteries. Bottlenose freaks, short beaks in the night, humpback shadows, pygmies out of sight. All the dolphins, you know it's true, rolling deep in the ocean blue. Stripes and spots, they rule the tide. Water dogs of the deep, they don't hide. In the river's grip, seas endless bounty, ruling the waves, Dolphin Illuminati. Praised by Romans, gods to the Greeks, underwater rulers, the power peaks. In ocean depths, their counts to 6. Dolphins in the dark, never calling it quits. Striped and spotted in the sea's domain. Aquatic dogs in their own insane lane. Through rivers they ride, seas they roam. In the ocean depths, they make their home.
Well, I talk about insanity, which is what's going on in your mind, and outside, which is where you communicate with us. As you know, if you give too much of your insanity, they'll lock you up. I tried to give as much as I could. They locked me up. They published it.
Dolphin Illuminati, deep, deep, deep in the deep they creep. It's that Dolphin Illuminati. In the rivers and the seas they be a constant mystery. It's that Dolphin Illuminati. It's that Dolphin Illuminati. Deep, deep, deep in the deep they creep. It's that Dolphin Illuminati. In the rivers and the seas they be a constant mystery. It's that Dolphin Illuminati. It's that Dolphin Illuminati.
Deep in the woods, what are they doing in there? Bohemian Grove, cremation of care.
The Bohemian Grove Cremation of Care playset comes with a random Grove member, light up flaming effigy, and of course, an owl. Paranoid American playsets, collect them all at paranoidamerican.com.
Disclaimer, these are custom art creations and not toys meant for wimpy little new world order babies. Don't eat the art. Don't sue the artist. For more details, visit paranoidamerican.com.
I'll whoop that ass like Michael Obama. Yeah, I got that big D energy. Ain't nobody wanna step to me. And if you really wanna bring that drama, I'll whoop that ass like Michael Obama.
No, Michelle is a trans.
I'm sorry, she's a what?
Transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
It's okay.
I whip that thing down like Michael Obama. I got that energy. Nobody wanna step to me. And if you really wanna bring that drama, I whip that ass like Michael Obama. I'm a girl, 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 I'm a
Hey, everybody who loves and supports the Secret Society of Good Guys. I just wanted to let you know that March 30th, which is next Saturday, I am going to be at the Joke Joint in Summerfield, Florida. I'm going to be doing 2 shows. First show is going to be a little podcast with some of the best of the best, the Nephilim Death Squad, Paranoid American. Cheney might show up. What? It's gonna be a banger. And then after that is night of stand-up comedy. 2 shows. We got 5 o'clock and I believe at 8 o'clock. So come out, rock and roll. Go to Sam Tripoli, grab some tickets now. Come see all your favorite truthers all in one place. Let's go.
Constantly explore the view of possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys. Good guys, good guys, good guys. Witches, weirdos, mega mystics, entertaining, calling linguists. Good guys. Forum of decorum needs a secretive society. Advent on philosophies, intentionally, magically good guys, good guys, good guys, good guys. Witches, weirdos, mischief making, it's okay to change your thinking. Good guys, good guys, good guys.
Big up
Hey.
yourself. Is everything
What up?
okay?
What up? Hello, hello, hello.
Howdy.
Thanks. Welcome to
I
the
came
Secret
up with
Society of Good
the
Guys.
glitter and the white.
I love it. I love it.
You made it.
Usually,
Hey,
I'm
hey,
so used.
hey.
This is the first time we've ever been on StreamYard, and I'm so used to restream and it fading out in my ear and everything. And even Juliette Lewis, I couldn't find her like she usually is. Brings us in. I couldn't find her on the beginning, and then it didn't fade out at all in my ear. It just sounded like we cut off. That I'm like, are we still here?
Let
It
me
did
tell
sound
you,
like we just cut off. Yeah.
that is so like hypnotizing on its own. Like your whole video hypnotized me fully. I'm fucking hypnotized right now.
Oh, perfect, perfect.
It's
That
working.
is so
So-
amazing. Like studying hypnotherapy and everything, you can see like how every moment of every day hypnotizes you. Even the fact that you came off and came back on and faded out and faded in was all a form of hypnosis for you. It was all a programming. It was the universe speaking to you.
I like
So-
that.
It's crazy.
It's all divine, baby. It's all
That's it.
divine.
Some of you
Always.
might know Bianca, and some of you that don't. Bianca has been a friend of mine for a while, but she also is my Reiki practitioner, and she is a big, huge reasoner. I give her such big ups that I not only like thrived and survived cancer, but like I really had a good attitude through it.
I'm
And
so happy you said that. Divine timing, baby.
yeah. And I just got to watch you on your journey, but you're just kind of like you were born to do this a little bit spiritually. But I feel like me and you and Layla kind of all met around the same time.
We did. I know Layla. I
Yeah.
speak to her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, like it's amazing because I've seen your guys' evolution as well. And it is amazing. Like I am so proud of both of you and your evolution and your just getting your voice out there and speaking, because we were not hiding in the beginning. We were very like,
What should we do?
yeah, kind of thing, like more internal, and now we're just kind of evolving. I love it.
Yeah.
Another thing that I just think is really cute, just to like, so someone kind of you and Summer and Paranoid American in an off-putting way kind of went to college together in Orlando. Binks and Summer went to school together in Jamaica.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So
Yeah.
just like a whole little small world.
It is
Yeah.
wild. And I didn't even, I swear it's probably doesn't sound as impressive to other people, but the only reason is because as she was talking, she must have said like some phrase that I had heard her say on the phone like a million times. And I was like, I just out of nowhere, we're talking, like everyone's laughing, and it was just like, I know her. Like, I don't know where the
I
hell
know,
came
it was
from.
hilarious.
The weirdest freaking feeling.
Yeah, it's like a deja vu.
But yeah, it was very much like a deja, but it was also like it all like I knew her name, I knew exactly where I knew her from, I knew like who I knew her through, and it just came out of no, like I hadn't thought any of that stuff in like 10 years.
Yeah.
6 degrees of separation. Is that the whole thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it.
Before-
All of our timelines always seem to cross and then recross again, right? That's the cycle of it all.
What
That's
is?
where the coincidences happen.
Before we get into everything with divination, but we can go anywhere you guys want. How's your week been? Anything crazy in the week besides Cape Middleton?
Yes. Okay. I'm going out to dinner with my nephew and his wife and my mother. We meet at this Mexican restaurant in this retirement area in Arizona, and we're going out to the restaurant from the car to the restaurant, and there's just vultures everywhere, just tons of them. I don't have video I can share. Maybe I can figure out how to get it to Instagram sometime, but there were just tons of them. And I looked back, and the other part of the sky was full of vultures. It was like a mob. Like everybody was kind of looking out at everybody who was waiting. We're just watching these giant vultures descend on this retirement area, and I'm thinking, oh, did somebody hit the switch and didn't tell me? And like, there's just shit tons of dead bodies around that I didn't know about.
This
Wow.
might have actually been a Kanye West release promo.
I saw a comment tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
See,
Nice.
that's the things like you're talking about, Binks, is paying attention to the signals that the universe is giving you, like seeing a shooting star or at a certain time or certain numbers, right?
Yeah. And Lila, you seem to be really connected with stars or the
Oh,
sky.
Yeah, you are.
I really am. I'm like,
I really think you are.
I'm like drawn to it. Every night I have to look up. I have to look for the moon. I have to look for what major stars are out. Is Venus out? Like I am so, I don't know what it is. I love it. There's something to it.
Yeah, there's something special
They
about
say
that.
don't look up. Fuck you.
Yeah,
I'm
but
looking up.
as without, so within. So you know what I mean? Like you filled with stars.
Yeah, I think so. I
Yeah.
think this is what we are back here, all of us having a human experience. Because
Of
God said,
course.
you know what? You want to have free will here. I created this land for you, but you're going to forget who you are. And in order for you to come back to me, you have to go the way you came.
Yeah. So it's all
Pure,
about living in
angelic.
heaven on earth.
Yes.
I thought you had to
Earth is
crawl up
heaven,
through a
earth is hell.
vagina.
You do have to crawl through a vagina. That's the biggest and greatest portal of them all. No offense to guys or anything, but that's an amazing portal right there.
You know, I was thinking about our Angels and Demons show, and all I could think of was angles and dimensions.
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
wow,
that's what
yeah.
everything is, isn't it? Angles and
Yeah.
dimensions.
Yeah, and doesn't it seem like those two words? Like if you really start to think about the dimensions of it, like you're really just dealing in angles in the 2D, like 1D, 2D, 3D. But once you start to deal with the 4D, 5D, 6D in creating, that's when you get into dimensions.
Hmm.
So I was thinking
Yeah.
maybe like simple,
Machine elves.
like angels, it's easy to be simple and like, two-dimensional and just play with angels. But the more dimension you want to keep adding, maybe the more demons you have to know you're going to be around.
Well,
Y'all
yeah, maybe.
thought.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, we talked about the whole what are they? I just said it. I just fucking said it. Elves, the machine elves. What if we are machine elves having a human experience? Because we're the creators and they create and they create and they create, and we're just on a different dimension of reality, I guess. So what if we're just machine elves creating and we don't even know we're machine elves?
This is my favorite and when you're philosophizing with Layla.
Yeah,
This is one of my favorite things. I know
I'm
one
just
of my
so out
favorite.
there.
We could be like start on like whatever. We're like, oh hey, how was your day? What about Kate Middleton? Layla's like, you know what I was thinking about? It's always like
No, it just pops into my head like a download. It's like, pew.
It does
You
make
know?
a lot of sense because I guess machine elves have always, to me, had like a couple weird traits. Like one is that they're gatekeepers, like big time, and the other one is that they're sort of like mischief makers. And I feel like those two things work with humans more than a lot of other like angelic or even demonic attributes. It does feel like we're more like machine elves.
Yeah, because we create, and that's what they do.
Yeah, but
they just
machine elves
create,
are
create,
weird. Do you
create,
know that
create.
what they look like? They look like paper clips and weird little items.
I've seen one. I've absolutely seen one in my own experiences, and it was wild, man. Like, yeah, it's one of those things that you can't really describe because it has like features that don't exist in reality.
Yeah,
you
I
said they're
talked to this
weird.
one. Her name was Tiana, and she looked like a regular person for a while, and then she turned into like it was a lucid dream. So I know I was talking to someone, and she turned into like paper clips and like lollipop sticks and stuff. It was so weird.
So you said they're weird, but like, did you not hear the question or the thought that I just had?
Yeah,
It's fucking
no, I
weird.
did, but I'm like, I know, but
We're
thinking of us as
weird.
paper
No,
clips and
the
weird.
machine elves, when I think of them, you know, like if we're Fraggle Rock and you're just trying to think of what layer of the Fraggle are you? Like, are you a Fraggle? Are you? But the machine elves are like the little dozers that are making the sugar stick things. That's what I think of them as. And then occasionally, like, we're Fraggles, but we don't know about the trash heap and the rat and the dog and the man. And it's like there's this whole other world going on outside, but we're just Fraggles.
Do you remember the secret society in Fraggle Rock? There was
Oh,
like
that's right.
There was a
Yes,
little
they were
secret
hats.
Fraggle
I forgot.
society.
Yeah. Did they have hats?
I've never heard of
I
this.
think they
Like in
had
the Flintstones?
Someone explain
Cloaks,
what is
that's what
that?
it was.
What is
Like
what?
the
Fraggle
best
Rock?
kid show ever.
Fraggle Rock? Down at
It was my
Fraggle Rock?
favorite.
Oh, we
Yeah,
need to
2
do a
years
night
away.
where we introduce Layla
Worries
to
for
Fraggle Rock.
another day. Let the music
Maybe
play.
if I
Music
see
play.
it, then I'll know.
Down at
Down Fraggle Rock.
Fraggle Rock.
Layla, we're gonna have
And we
to
got
show
both.
you this real quick. I'm
Oh,
so
shit.
sorry to
Yeah.
do
Because
this.
maybe
but
a couple people in the chat don't know either.
how
and I'm
could we
just
not
like,
talk about divination without showing you Fraggle Rock?
Yeah, you should do like a Fraggle Rock like preview before we come into the show
Right.
next time. Like, like little Fraggle Rock clips.
I'm allowed to
They were
share
called
my
the
screen.
Poobahs. The secret
Poobahs.
society of the Poobahs.
So this is a Jim Henson show that we all grew up on, and these are the Fraggles.
oh, I
Yeah.
never watched this.
I watched it a couple times. I remember
Red.
as a kid.
Oh wait, yeah, I've watched it a couple times actually. Because this redhead right here, I remember her. Yes. Okay.
It's kind of funny when you think about it because like even the Fraggles, like it's like a young boy and then his like crazy schizo friend over here. But then this is like a 70-year-old.
That's the one
I just thought he was a
remember.
stoner.
Yeah. It's just so funny.
Oh,
I wonder how that program does.
He was a stoner, wasn't he?
I
Fraggle
thought
Rock.
so. I always did. I thought that he was just like the Shaggy of the
Yeah.
of the, you know, the
I guess
Fraggles.
that's why I was drawn to him.
Fraggle Rock. I don't know. It's such a crazy. What do you guys think of the Kate Middleton thing going on? Anything?
Well,
I
now
don't
they
want
said
to
she has
say
cancer,
AI.
right?
Yeah, that
Did you
was today.
Did you see the video
Yeah.
of her
Are
by
they saying
herself
she's
sitting on the
dead?
bench?
No, the video to like throughout the week they said, oh, Kate Middleton, and she's been nowhere to be found. And then Prince William was out playing basketball and doing all these public appearances, still nowhere to be found. So then Buckingham Palace has to make something. So first they put her driving and everyone's like, that ain't her. And then they try to put her walking out of some place with him and everyone's like, that ain't her.
That ain't her.
And then a story came out today that she has cancer.
Yeah, well, did you see the video that they put out today of her
No.
sitting on the bench and her saying, "Hi guys, thank you for your yada yada yada. But I'm okay, I'm just after my surgery, I'm just taking time apart." But that whole video, and I hate to say it, but it does look AI, and I don't want to blame AI for everything because that's just a slippery slope. We talked about it in the whole sex industry and just blaming everything on AI. And I hate to do that, but it looked very AI, that video. If you want to see it, it's on Benny Johnson's profile on Instagram. That's where I saw it.
I'm just throwing it out there because we live in an actor-based reality. And way back when, there was this story that Prince William, when there was the TV show The Hills out, and there was Lauren Conrad, and there was a story that Prince William, first he was obsessed with Britney Spears and that he wanted to date her. And then there was a story that he was obsessed with Lauren Conrad from The Hills for a while. So they apparently met up and Lauren Conrad was like, no bueno, not having it. And she went back to Beverly Hills, whatever the meetup was about it. But apparently Kate, he only fell for Kate because she looked just like Lauren Conrad. So then I was like, if they're going to make this bitch disappear and we live in an actor-based reality and we keep seeing the double become the person, people need to pay attention and keep an eye on Lauren Conrad. Where in the world is Lauren Conrad? Is she going to be playing Kate Middleton soon? That's
Maybe.
a deep cut into the hills.
Yeah, for real. I don't know what's going on with that, but I personally think she's unalived. That's what I think.
Do you think it's all a cover so that we're not questioning where Charles and Andrew are?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
'Cause that's the
too.
royal we're talking about.
Yeah, distraction.
Where is Andrew?
Where? Yeah.
If they were arrested, but they still run the media because they're allowed to propagate. If they were arrested, how would we know about it if the news isn't going to tell us about it? So if they could keep up front that they have still the control, then they just need to figure out their next steps. So if Charles got arrested or if Andrew got arrested, now what? Who has the power? How do we pass this off? So it's better if we kill them, but we're going to have to do this right because they're going to want to know where he's at. So let's kill him from cancer. But oh wait, this is going to be messy. It's not quick enough. Where's Andrew? Because they're going to want to know where he's at. Let's use Kate because we thought that we were going to have everyone be able to care about Harry and Meghan, but no one cares about
Oh
them.
God! I hope they didn't think that.
Well, remember how much they tried to push them so they would become our new royals? But no matter Oprah appearances, they were on every Today show. They made a reality show of them. We still don't care.
But she was in Suits. You guys gotta care, right?
Nah.
They've tried to sell it, but apparently the Kate thing, they're like, oh, they seem to care about Kate. Let's
run with it.
Yeah, let's run with it.
Don't you see a lot of this going on in Hollywood and whatnot? All of these people all of a sudden dying and being suicided, and there's just something weird. And I don't want to sound like a black pill, but it's oh, let's put AI of us everywhere, and let's just go into the bunkers and just fucking hide and let them fend for themselves and crash the whole system and literally fucking reset. But that's just my brain sometimes.
But isn't it so crazy that people actually don't see it happening?
Yeah.
Isn't it kind of crazy? In their reality, because everyone has their own reality. We're all the main character in our own movie, right? And do we create our reality, or is our reality I guess the universe is ever expanding, right? So as we create something must happen to kind of correspond with it. So in other people's reality, Kate and everyone is just normal.
Yeah. And we keep saying, oh, it's all fake. It's all fake. That's my point. It's all fake for a reason. Why else would they make everything fake and fake AI of everybody? It's like, what are they really doing and where the fuck are they really going? And, just putting a stage for us to watch and then let shit fucking crash and like shit pop off. I'm just like,
and
why does it
so
have to
many
be
times.
black pilled? Why can't you be red pilled about it? Like, why can't you be glittery red pilled and think, oh my gosh, it's
All these,
all
take one of them. Here you
happened.
go.
I don't think of it as any pill, but
No, but
oh, look at her dooming. It's not
no,
like
but I'm
doom,
just
but
like, instead, what if all these people are just like you say? They're in a desperate need to create an actor based reality and CGI because all the powers that be really are like in
feeding off of
Guantanamo
them.
Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a loosh to feed off of you.
Yeah, it's just helping them to create a whole different reality, and a lot of the world are going down that reality.
Yeah.
Do you
It's
think
like
the
where the
elites ever
energy
get
goes.
together and they question like if we're holograms? Like, do you think that they're even real? Like they
Well,
can't be
they're
real,
probably
right?
like, how can we program these people today? What can we do to like get them to believe that this is not happening and we want to do this and this and this? What do we need to make them on the other side be distracted all about?
That room has to exist, right? Like those meetings
for
are
sure.
going on. Almost like they
Oh
used
my
to set the
God.
price of gold every morning. They probably do that now.
Do you know how many islands are supposedly like deserted? Like no humans live on it. Come on. Oh, they have plenty of meetup spots. They have their jets, they have their submarines. We gave it all to them.
I really picture like events that happened where like George Burns and Betty White came out and did like the most grotesque sexual shit on stage, why people like cheered it on, and then like to become a Hollywood actor that makes it the longevity of a Betty White, like people ran trains on you. Like if you're a person like whoever the biggest, blackest, toughest guy is in Hollywood, trains get run on him in the back end. That's what I picture these secret club meetings to be like. I picture whatever we consider beautiful, like, oh, look at it, Jennifer Lawrence. They make her crawl around with the pigs. Like whatever we consider like, like everybody shames Charlie Sheen or who would ever touch the Elephant Man. They have full rooms of that. That's what they're into. Like the more grotesque we see them out here, the more honored they are in their club. And the more they're like, it's almost the scapegoat ritual. Like the more we treat them pariah, the more they get honored in their club. And the more they're honored out here, the more they have to like crawl around on their belly.
They must be so in a low dimension.
For real.
That sounds very hellish. Like that is a low
Do they want?
dimension.
Oh, here's a question: do they want to be part of that dimension?
Of course, because it doesn't matter which dimension you're in, you get power regardless.
Interesting. That's an interesting thought, to be a part of that realm and that kind of spirit, to be like traveling unseen. They think of it as something like powerful, probably.
There's something that Abby said that you could be of service to yourself or of service to others. And so, but if you're of service to yourself, then you have to do it all the way. But if you're of service to others, you only have to do it 51%.
Yeah,
Like
service
even
to
though
self takes a very negative polarity, and it's really hard to maintain. So it's hard to be around positive people, and you have to be able to do the lowest of the low shit to become service to self. And service to others, you don't have to be like put everybody above you.
Yeah,
that's actually like counterproductive, but it has to be 51%. You just have to be slightly more biased to be service to others than service to self.
Wouldn't that be like soul and ego? Like service to self would just be all ego, and basically you sign off your soul.
Yeah. Yes.
And then service to others, you're working from a soul base, but yet you can still keep your ego at the same time. You know what I mean? Because it's 50-50. But when you're all about yourself, sign away that soul. It's gone. You're not thinking about other people. You're not thinking about the betterment of anybody else.
And you have to be willing to take it to a psychopath or sociopathic level, where you don't give a fuck, because it takes a lot to maintain it.
And then when you don't have a soul, other entities are easily able to visit. Because you don't have that other 50%. So
There's something that I can't remember the exact source of this, but it's like has not escaped my brain since I heard it. and I guess part of the challenge of humans is that we have to make these decisions on an individual basis on if you're going to be, like service to self, service to others. It's happening within every single human being individually, but animals, it's a little bit different, is that they're supposed to have like an individual spirit. So there's like a pack of wolves, right? Each one of those wolves doesn't have these individual thoughts, but the pack itself has that thought, and the pack itself can determine like if it's going to be 51% or all these different aspects. But I guess I don't know if I believe
Wouldn't
that.
that go with the consciousness as well? Like what we said before, like the half of the people are going with this reality with the whole Kate Middleton story and all that stuff. Wouldn't those be their pack?
Right, but I guess my understanding is that our consciousness, we get to decide like person by person for some weird reason, whereas animals, when animals get together in a pack, the way that they act and the way they think, everything, it seems to indicate that they're almost like one single consciousness, like a
It's the
broad
same with
animal
us.
consciousness.
Yeah.
It's the
we're the
craziest.
same.
It's the same with
Even
us.
though we have an
We do
individual
that all the time.
choice, we're working towards becoming one. So that's the whole like law of one idea is like the service to self, service to others. But then you can take it. I forgot where my train of thought went, so I'm gonna just stop right there. And when I come back to it, I'll
But
when I remember, I'll come back to it.
you know who the closest ones we are with is our direct family line. So your direct family line is your closest pack, right? And then we're all humans. I mean, we're like animals are animals, and then we're humans. So we're all coded in very similar ways, but we are coded the closest to our family, our DNA. So that's why I love doing ancestral constellations. Like I dive into people's ancestry, and we see the blocks and the traumas and the even the bloodline that comes through, right? We can activate certain stuff. Like my grandmother was like a really big I don't know, in Jamaica we call it like guju, and we call it like, like we don't call it I don't know. So she used to like beat her chest and say different things about different people and all that stuff, and people would like die, or like things would happen to those people. And it's like all this, I don't know, black magic, but energy and energy. So yeah, your bloodline is very very, very important.
I think
Very
we did
important.
live in a unity once upon a time, like
Agreed.
animals with humans, and like something happened along the way where everything just separated. Like something separated, and it just caused this division within species, and also with male and female too. It's like a split. Something happened.
Well, look at stars.
Probably.
Look at like big bangs. Look at outside of us. Like, like things have to happen, and then things split, and then things happen and things split.
You know what's an interesting thing? In Islam, it says that heaven and earth were one, and it was split.
Yep, and it says earths. So there's multiple
like literally
multiple heavens,
split.
multiple earths.
Yeah. So that could be part of the whole thing. That's why. Do you see what we are, y'all? Do you see what we are?
Yeah, we're all consciousness having splitting.
Sometimes
Having
I
a human
wonder, like,
experience.
our idea of one. What if in our humanness, like Thomas is saying, animals have this idea of collective thinking, like schooling like fish or packing like wolves, or this idea, but in our evolution, maybe we don't necessarily have to, like, maybe the breakaway, instead of it being something we're closing ourselves off to, maybe it's separation of that school, maybe it's separation of that normal thing that every other animal runs on. Maybe we aren't supposed to anymore, and this is like a huge awakening for all of humankind. Like, you no longer have to turn left when the school turns left, or fly like the fleet of birds. Like, you can just sit and watch all the other fish school if you want.
For sure.
I think it's an
back to what
awakening
Lisa
of
was saying
all
about
species.
hypnosis, though, is that most humans are hypnotized. They are collective thinkers. They are into the cultural patterns of thinking instead of thinking for themselves. And I'm going to offend almost everyone here when I say that, because like most of us are caught up in what someone called pendulums or tulpas or egregores. The law of hypnotic rhythm, it puts you to sleep, and you are only worried about what your group think is thinking. Your fucking sports team fans, like you're thinking like them, and so you're put to sleep. You're hypnotized. Your church, your political party, whatever it is, that this energy
You're
structure is
distracted.
literally stealing your thought, your
From
energy, and
you.
you are being collective. You're not being individual. You're not being yourself. You're not being authentic at all.
Yeah. And then, you know what the crazy thing is, like, I think a pack, like, for example, wolves, if one wolf is like hurt or going through something or feeling something, all the wolves feel it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like all the
that's
wolves
so
know, because they have to speak telepathically to each other. So like when you start connecting to the collective, like when I'm channeling other people, I can feel their feelings. You can feel their pain inside. You know, you feel your stomach hurting and all that stuff. So our bodies are even talking to us all the time, but not only about ourselves, but they can also talk to us about other people.
I really on Netflix, we watched our first episode, we watched Midsummer, and that was my favorite thing about all their crazy rituals and stuff, is that when one person was feeling something, they would all join in the feeling. So if they were like in pain and upset, they would all moan and cry like they were in pain and upset. Or if one person
Healing.
was experiencing pleasure, they would all moan like they were feeling pleasure. And it
Yeah.
was like, it was
Amazing. Use
kind of
that to
bizarre,
manifest.
but I really loved it. I thought it was pretty neat.
Yeah, it intensified, especially the pleasing aspect of it, and intensified it. And you could see it in the man's face because he was trying so hard to like reject what he was doing, but because of that unified pleasure of it all, he just couldn't.
Or when
So
the girl
guys,
was
I
just
do
crying for grief and everyone started crying for grief and it just helped her get it out. It was amazing.
Yeah, I do something called ancestral circles, and we do lives like this all together. And on the live, we all channel each other's ancestors. So, for example, like I will say, Cheney is having this situation and that situation going on in her life, right? And I would just be like, okay, this goes along with, like, for example, your relationships. If you have relationship problems, we always want to dive towards our mom. If you have problems with fear or God, we always want to dive towards our dads, right? Because the father is God, the mother is religion. It's your first relationship on earth. Like, you know, we have different traits we take down, or different emotions. So Cheney would have something with her mom, and I'd be like, okay, Layla, you're going to represent Cheney's mom or Cheney's grandma. And all of a sudden, Layla just starts fucking becoming Cheney's grandma. Like, she'll start feeling the pain she felt. She'll start feeling this we felt. Everything will start to happen. And then what happens is Cheney's grandma gets healed. And that all of a sudden goes down to Cheney. Cheney can speak to her grandma. The whole idea is, how do you feel? We can bring, like, Gordy could be this person, you know, you could be
That
her
works
dad.
with
And then we have this
adoption
whole thing.
too. With adoption,
even with adoption.
Family, when you label someone family, it's, oh man, it ties with Besa, man. It's so crazy.
There's like principles and laws, so it's a real therapy, actually.
Yeah.
And so we can't ever exclude parents out of it. It's a law.
Yeah.
That's
very,
it's
very
really it's almost like Deo della Morta, where you're doing a Day of the Dead, where we all put on skeleton and dress in colorful clothes, and then we all have these altars outside our house to pay homage to the person that's passed. But in passing everybody's house, I can see what their loved ones loved, and then I take on those traits a little bit just in my skeleton face and all my happy clothes. And then when we dance together, I dance as their loved ones and they dance as mine, and we celebrate that all the passing of the dead. And it's really one of the beautiful rituals that kind of stays on the planet, that everybody mourns death so heavily, but they don't celebrate it like that. And it's the only, real truth that we know for sure in the world, is that it's something we're all going to meet, and it's something everybody doesn't honor.
And what's crazy is that when you die, you're connected still to the person, right? So if my grandma and I were connected through DNA, through cords, energetic cords. If I feel heavy feelings towards her, maybe hate, anger, envy, greed, any of those heavy energies towards her, not only that, but if I feel sad that she's dead, I'm like, oh my God, I miss my grandma. Oh my God. And I had these sad feelings. She feels that shit. We're technically holding her down in her life, like in her evolution of wherever her energy needs to go. So yeah, definitely celebrate them. Send them love and blessings every day.
And I will also say energy is real. And I was kind of a person that I was like, meh, on Reiki. I've had friends of mine that are Reiki practitioners forever. And I was going to have Binks on. And so I figured, I don't care. I'm open to it now. There was a part of me that wasn't when I was growing up, still in my like Christianness, that even though I didn't consider myself Christian anymore, everything that wasn't that felt like, oh, I'm so scared of this. And then I wasn't scared anymore. So I was like, okay, I'm going to interview Binks for season 1 of Project Cheney, which I'm sure you can find the audio of YouTube or anywhere you get your podcast. And so I'm like, let me take part in this and like really be present. And she told me that I had like wound, like a sacral wound, like, and that I needed to work on. And I had like such a pain in my stomach, and I didn't even really believe any of this. Not that I was like a naysayer in it, I was open, but I had such a pain in my stomach. It's so weird after that how where my trauma was and how I ended up losing my spleen later. Like, it's just
I
like,
remember that, Jenny. You said you were like pulled over, like in a lot of pain.
oh yeah,
Wait,
you cut up a
repeat
little
that.
bit.
Oh, sorry. I was saying, I remember you were curled over in fetal position. You're like, Binks, I'm in fetal position right now. Like, I'm in so much, like, you know, you were curled over in a lot of
Yeah,
pain
so
during
much.
that
And this is
time.
before I had any spleen. Like, there was no just dull pain of my spleen yet. It was
Yeah.
just like something totally different. But I also there was a big huge piece of my feminine that I got in this whole experience, because I'd never felt myself as a mother before in any lifetimes. I'd never, but in that I had healing to do, because I did feel like, oh, I didn't get to be a mother in a lifetime. I had my baby taken from me. Like, it was just like almost like I got a story so on me that it was my own. And it was so quick how
But
like
isn't that crazy
sitting,
that you lost an organ?
yeah, afterward, and
Yeah, like the
grieving it.
baby taking from you. And when you lose an organ, I always recommend mourning it. You know what I mean? Like when you lose, it's a part of you, like it was you, and you lost it like a child in a sense, like really respecting it, sending it love and light, you know, sitting with it, understanding like, why did this need to like leave me, and, you know, setting your intentions towards it or whatever. Yeah, but let me tell you, Cheney, I think you're reborn, man.
That was a big huge thing, is that
This was the push you needed in your life.
I was claustrophobic before this, and there was all these little things that I realized that we take on, that we just say, I'm not personable. I'm not good with people. I hate blank, and you put your thing on it. I'm claustrophobic. I'm scared of heights. And you just put that thing on there, and then you just own that thing.
Yeah.
And once I hated the medical industry. The idea of sitting in another PET scan tube, it like gave me anxiety just to think about it. But then it was just like, what is possible for you to overcome? If it really is all mind over matter, then you're capable of doing anything. But I did learn from Bianca that all my fears, I had to honor them to let them go. Like, I had to sit with them. I had to sit with my sorrow, my guilt, my shame, my all the ugly. I had to sit with it and honor that and realize why it was there for me for so long, to protect me in this way, but I didn't need it anymore.
Yeah.
And it was
Then it
like,
goes away.
yeah, it was really
Because
like a
it's
beautiful
literally
thing.
trapped energy in your body. It
Yeah.
causes disease in your body, but disease as well. Like it becomes disease. So because energy is energy, or emotion is energy in motion, it's supposed to move. So you have to feel it to heal it. And like any memory you have, it like you like, oh my God, like when you think of it, like I go back to like 4th grade when I farted in class and everyone heard me, you know, and then like I remember feeling shamed, like just like
But
5
you'd
years
never
ago, like
shame
going, oh my
someone for
God, I'm so
farting anymore.
yeah, but you have like if you're sit there go, why
Right.
am I even thinking about this? Like that happened like a million years ago. Like you have to literally feel it. You have to go through the 4th grade you feel it,
Yeah.
like and then like I do
But you know what?
Ho'oponopono.
Not
But you
only
have to
sometimes,
pull it out of your body.
yeah, but
If you have
sometimes
any
people love
emotional trigger.
understanding it.
Yeah.
They love to understand it. Like, why did that 4th grade fart happen to you? Like, how did it allow you to become this person that you are now? You know what I mean? Like, just thinking of it that way and reprogramming those words, kind of like, yeah.
I think I mentioned it once before, but talking about the golden shit club that we talk about all the time. I did shit my pants in the first grade, and I had to like relive that moment, as an adult. Like, why did it
because
happen?
if you still have any emotional trigger, then you have it trapped in your body. You literally do. You have to get it out. You have to
Guys,
deal with it.
I almost shit my pants the other day. What are you talking about? Listen,
It's
I was
pretty close.
fasting. I was fasting for like 5 days or 6 days, and it was the first day that I stopped fasting. And I went up to a friend's house, and when you go to someone's house, you're in their energy as well. Like, I've been to her house and I can kind of feel like a little dizzy sometimes. I was in her house, first day fasting, my stomach is like brand new lining and everything. She gives me clam chowder soup for lunch.
Yeah. It'll do it to you, especially when you're
did
fasting.
not make it home. Almost did not make it home. Like, I ran like boop, 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 like I was running to the toilet. My son came out. He's like, "What's going on, Mom? What's the matter?" I was like, "I'm gonna shit myself," and everybody was laughing. It was
way too rich.
Yeah, it was man, she had a lot of energy that needed to come out of that house.
This feels like that scene in Lethal Weapon 3 when they're like comparing scars, but like now everyone's just talking about the worst time they shit themselves.
Yeah.
I remember this time. I almost didn't make it to the Taco Bell restroom, man.
It'll do it to you. It'll do it to you.
I've had a pee myself thing once, oddly enough, in my pea coat.
Yeah.
At the ATM, and it was freezing cold, and it wouldn't give me my card back. And then I didn't want the ATM to keep my card, because then I was like, I don't want to come down here tomorrow. And I was shivering, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to pee. Come on with the card. Come on. And then I was like, I'm gonna pee. Like, there's nothing in between.
It's
and
done.
So I don't want to pee on my pea
Let
coat.
it be.
So I took my jacket off, and I like accepted that I was just standing at the ATM peeing myself. And I finally got my card back, and I walked to the car because I was driving, and my wife was in the car, but we weren't married at the time. And I was like, I just pee-peed myself. Like, she's like, you just pee-peed your panties?
I could hear her saying it that way
shocked,
too.
and the way she said it to me was like, you just pee-peed your panties? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, okay. So I got in the car. It's freezing cold. And like already all the pee on me is freezing cold down my pants. And I like lay my pee coat in the back.
I bet it was warm for just a half a second.
Yeah, for a second the windows were up, and she's like, oh no. She rolled the windows down, and I was just freezing the whole ride home. But I wasn't even drunk. I was just like in my 20s.
Yeah. I had to, my reliving that experience, I had to learn to speak up for myself, and I wasn't doing that. I had to go. My teacher wouldn't let me. So we were in a test, and I just let it go in front of 30 other kids. And
well, urine, just to piggyback on everything, urine is all about marking your territory. So you marked your wife's territory. You're like, fuck that bitch, you're mine. And you just like marked your territory all up in her car and everything. And then Lila was like, all right, well, I'm going to just mark my territory. You won't let me go. And everybody's like, oh my God, Layla. Layla was the talk of the town after that.
Yeah,
like she marked her territory. She's like, I am queen bitch in
I
this
guess that's when the
classroom.
bullying started.
See?
When the bullying started.
Yeah, I was bullied like hell in fucking school, dude. It was crazy, but
because they saw you trying to mark the territory, they were like, "Oh hell no!
Fuck this bitch! What does she think she has to mark territory here?
You think she's part of the Golden Shit Club?
Oh, for sure.
Bianca, part of like the secret society of good guys. Have you ever seen anyone light their fart on fire, or have you ever lit your fart on fire?
No, I have never done that, but my family has this thing of catching their farts and throwing it in your face.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
Like your current family right now?
No, not my current family now. So I have a cousin of mine. No, that would not fly. That would not fly in my house. No, I have one of my cousins. She's this really big Jamaican lady, right? Really big Jamaican lady, and she grew up with a lot of boys. right? A lot of boys, all her brothers and everything. And she still does it to this day. She'll like catch a fart and throw it in your face. And I'm like, oh, you did not just do that to me. Like, what the fuck? We don't do
My
that.
ex-husband did that shit, man. It was so gross.
That's why he's an ex.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you do
Nasty
not throw your
motherfucker.
fart in my face. Yeah.
It's not cute to me.
No, that's
I'm getting
not.
flashbacks right now of getting like bullied by my friend's older brother. Like that's that energy that comes from that, of, like catching a fart and throwing it at someone.
Oh yeah.
The only time it's weaponized, it's
brother used to
okay,
do
is
it.
like an accidental Dutch oven or something, and maybe it's not on.
Yeah, but we're
maybe
talking
it's
about
not
like
accidental. You know, maybe it
and,
was
like,
on purpose. I
throwing.
don't know.
My brother who passed used to do it to me all the time. So I appreciate that now.
Yeah.
If I could
Lila does
rewind
mine.
with my wife, I wish we had that part of like, not that I ever want her to be uncomfortable, but I just wish there was some things that were sacred.
I believe there should be. I do believe there should be.
I'm more ladylike than you'd think. Like, sometimes around my dude friends, whatever, but most of the time I'm just like, gross.
Don't do that in your bathroom. Let's pretend like that doesn't happen.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
just want to think of you like can you pretend you're 5D and that you don't shit? Like,
Yeah.
can I just not know?
I
Even
used to
some of
be
my
that way.
lady friends, like I put on this little, and they'll just be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, girl, I gotta go. I'm having bathroom problem." Like, I don't want to know these details of your life. I just want to pretend you're just like a pretty little lady and you don't even have an asshole.
But why? But why?
I don't know.
No,
I
but
never
for real,
used
but
to be
like,
that
why?
way, Layla,
Yeah.
but then I've learned to appreciate it. I think that some
I
things
used
just
to
should
be
be
that way.
sacred.
Now I'm like, what the fuck? We're just human, and these are normal human things. Like,
they
why is this so
are.
embarrassing to like shit or fart? I'm not gonna do
It's
it in
not
front of
that.
you, but like, like
Yeah, but at the same time, like no one really cares what the artist is doing when they're like shaving their pencils down. Like they just
That's
want to
true.
see the artwork. You know
That's
what I mean?
very true.
Yeah.
That's very true. I get that. Yeah. Yeah. Let me shut up. Yeah, you're right.
Like, not that
Nobody wants to see how
Like,
the
hey,
sausage is
guys.
made.
I mean, it really does.
Like,
I
hey
don't care who
guys,
you are.
I'll be
Shit
right
stinks.
back. I'm gonna go take a nice shit. Like
It's
Well,
just
wouldn't it be
the-
weird if there was someone that was just fascinated with like finding out how sausage is made, but they're like, "Oh, I don't like sausage. I don't eat sausage. I just want to watch." Like, I don't know. It'd be kind of weird.
A sausage fetishist.
That, yeah.
The kids in the whole episode.
Yeah.
Sausages.
Sausage fetishist.
That's a deep cut.
These guys behind the glass watching them.
And me, I just want to be like, how come they're programmed that way? Like, why do they like that? Like, that's what I want to know. Like, why do people like the things that they like?
I do have a
Who the
theory
fuck knows?
about something specific with porn. Is nothing's for free. If it's for free, you're the product. So all the free porn plays whatever you put in. You're like, I want to watch a thick girl masturbate. This is what you put in the thing. That's what plays in the center. And then on the outskirts, it's like taking your whatever your craving is to another level, but you're not even realizing it because you're paying attention to the center screen while you're jerking off or masturbating or whatever, and then you're getting to an orgasm state or coming, and then the outskirt thing is also entering your brain. So the
Your
next time
subconscious,
you're going to look for porn, you're like, I want thick girls twerking with a dick. And then you're like, it just becomes like an edge, an edge,
Yeah.
an edge.
It's an
And so-
addiction.
yeah, this is what I think though is going on with all the porn sites.
Programming
is-
in the side.
yeah, and so
Yeah.
they've all been trapped in their house for a few years. They're all working from home now, and so everybody's fetishes has gotten so much further away from who they naturally were, what they were naturally turned on by, that everybody is a little shameful of what they jerk off to now. So now this is where the slippery slope of, oh, well, I don't really care what Tom Hanks is doing on his fucking thing because I don't want you looking at my fucking thing. And it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
nobody's thing is really as bad as Tom Hanks's thing, but nobody really wants you to know that, oh, Cheney's looking up thick girls twerking with dicks on a Tuesday. And it, like whatever her weird thing has
Riding a
become.
motorcycle
Yeah, like
with a
it's
midget.
Yeah, that's what I just feel like it's become the weird kink of the century on the outskirts of the thing. And now everybody's there and they're all like, oh, and everybody hits this point of like, oh my gosh, I'm ashamed of myself. Did I just come on that? I need to take a couple days off. And that's where we got into a whole thing of people having to come on and be like, hey, you guys, I just want you to know I didn't touch myself today. I just want everyone
Everybody
to
has
No
to
Nut
pat
November.
themselves on,
yeah,
on the
I just
back.
want everyone to be proud of me. I just want you guys to know I did not masturbate this
Well,
week.
don't you
Public
have to hit a
accountability.
low? You gotta hit that low.
I know. Okay, in a divination way, for real. Speaking of bones, and boners, do you think there is something of actual bones? Like Layla, I saw you put that video, and what's that called?
Oh my God! You asking me? What fucking stoned as fuck?
Well, it's or can you explain what it is?
Okay, so it's like bone magic. There's different types of bone magic. So it's like you ask a question, and when the bones fall, you could do it in a bowl or you do it just dry bone. But you just ask a question, and
Dry bone.
you just drop them on the table or whatever, or the ground. It could be on dirt, which is better. And it'll form into shapes which you'll know as a yes or a no or a maybe. So that's one form of divination. But then you have the taking of bones and casting spells with. So you could take a bone, wrap it with hair and maybe a blood cloth of, I don't know, something or somebody, or a piece of cloth from somebody, or nails, or using an egg in it. And you just do black magic with it to put a spell on somebody or conjure a jinn to.
Yeah, because that's bones. I mean, jinn love bones, right? That's what they
Yes.
eat, especially if you don't bless your food or
Yes.
set your intentions before you eat your food. Oh my God, those heavy energies, those energies are on it. They're on it.
Bible Mancy, hold on.
What do you guys think about wishbones? Did you ever do wishbones?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I
Love
know
Everyone
wishbones.
do
I mean,
wishbones?
it makes your intentions who you wishing to. You know what I mean? I don't think anything is bad. It just the intention that you put towards it is what makes it whatever. Like, I mean, I can cut my hair with a full moon. I love to cut my hair with a full moon. I love to cut my hair with a new moon. But again, what is my intention for it? Am I doing it to hurt somebody, or am I doing it for good, light or love, or shit and evil?
Yeah. So the type of magic, it's called the scapulomancy. And most of the bones that they use are the shoulder blades, or spiel bones, scapula. So those are the main bones. If you want to use like real magic or real intention, it's usually the shoulder bone of a animal or human, if you want to go that dark.
Human.
Yeah.
Well, I brought it up too because it's 322, so it's a Skull and Bones Day, and
Ooh.
they have Geronimo's skull supposedly, and if scapula or different kinds of bones of chicken or some animals would be powerful in like a hoodoo or voodoo type way, I was wondering what kind of spells of humans of if you had, and now it makes me, Layla, think of the skull and bones totally different. Like, is it part of their shoulders?
Oh yeah, it is.
It is that.
Yeah, it's the skull and the shoulder bone. Yeah.
Or is it?
I've heard it a couple of different versions. There's scapulomancy and a femurmancy, but I think the whole over, like if you can use like all of it, I think it's osteomancy, but I could be wrong.
There's all different types of mancies out there.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of glutamancy?
Love it.
Look at Abby knew she was like going to be
The
into
all-knowing
glutamancy.
ass.
She was like
I thought
looking
you were talking
down
about
at her
gluten.
phone, and then she looked up.
I
Like,
literally
I
thought you were
practice
talking about like gluten
glutamancy.
or something. I was like, what is she talking about? Glutamancy. And then I was like, oh.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to throw off the whole conversation with Abby's
No.
butt.
Man, these different mancies, they're very interesting ones out there. Very interesting ones. The one that I don't know if it's a mancy, but like we practice this. I don't know if you do,
Divination.
Bianca, but you've heard of it. It's like coffee cup readings.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is like my favorite thing that I'm
Oh,
trying
gross.
to like.
Clean your cup.
Yeah, Juan.
It actually is a form of divination, is
It
tea
is
leaf
divination.
reading and
Yeah.
coffee ground reading and things. I was reading a lot about it this week. And then,
Yeah.
so it is a form of divination that they've used for a very long time in history.
Yeah.
I mean, this might sound silly, but would it count as like a kid eating like alphabet soup and like watching what like words come together and form and
Oh yeah.
deriving meaning out of that? Is that
That's
any different?
divination right
that.
there.
I used to do that as a kid, like find words and like, oh shit, and eat it. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it was just like a game.
Yeah.
It was like a game. But yeah, it's really interesting. What really made me believe that there's something to this. I went overseas on vacation for the first time ever, go visit all my family members because we don't have like actual like cousins here, like really, really close. We have second generation cousins here. But anyway, we went to some village in Skopje where it was like Farmville, like very country, you know, and we started drinking coffee cups. We did the whole, you know, spinning the cup, putting the ring on it and setting an intention. And my cousin who actually read the cup, she's like, I want to warn you, but I don't want to put fear into you. Just be careful, you know, keep your loved ones close because I see something. I don't know if it's going to be 9th month, 9th day, 9th year. But something will happen. I just don't know what it is. But she can't tell you what it actually is because the whole point of it is not to instill fear in a person because there'll be people locking themselves up forever with giving too much information. But on the 9th day, the July 9th, my brother was shot and he was shot and killed. So that was like a huge number 9 that showed up in the cup, like the whole entire like cup. And I was just like, oh my God, like, what the hell? Like, it was so accurate on everything that she said. So now I'm just like, maybe there's something to it. I try to practice myself and see what figures I see in them. And it's an interesting divination. So it's like pretty much tells you about family, the family, the past, I think, and the future. It's like cut in 3 different sections. But yeah, if you guys want to learn, just check it out.
You know what I love? Like, I think one of my favorite divinations is definitely, well, I have 2. I have muscle testing and I love hypnosis. Like in hypnosis, I took someone into their future. I don't like talking about people's future. You know what I mean? Because I think that if you talk about someone's future, you're kind of programming it. Right. I'm creating it in their reality. So for me, if I'm going into someone's future, like not through hypnosis, I would just ask them, what do you want to happen? If you were to continue down this timeline, I can tell you this is what's going to happen, but let's recreate another timeline for you. Right. Yeah. So we kind of recreate another timeline. So we enter into a different reality. We're on the way to something different. But in hypnosis now, it doesn't give a shit your subconscious. I mean, your subconscious will tell you exactly what you need to hear. It'll take you in the exact place you need to go. It's not like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it like Bianca. I'm going to make them see a real life situation that they need to see. And it's really, really powerful. Really, really powerful.
I want to say, as a person who is kind of a naysayer on things, or in my head, I am such a contrarian that it is powerful. And I've done a little past life stuff with you. I haven't done hypnotism with you.
Or have you?
I know. But
have you? You would
well,
know.
I know now that I have listened to you when I've been in my states, like or meditation. Yeah. So I do think it's very powerful. And I do think you also have a really great way of, your voice is pleasant, but you don't sugarcoat it when it needs to just be said.
Yeah.
Like
you have to visit it.
Yeah. And it's nice. You have a good balance. So I think, anyone out there who might want to explore some of this stuff, I think Bianca is a good person to explore it with, for sure.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bianca, I've done that before. Past life regression.
Yeah.
Once. And it took me kind of a good year to just kind of sit with it and watch it over and over again to figure out like what the hell it was trying to tell me. Because
What
like
did you regret?
each,
Did you regress, and did you do it with someone?
yeah, I did it with Phoenix Aurelius's wife. I c- oh
And
gosh,
then did they
I
go
will
to the
think of her name.
subconscious
She
mind
was really
after?
great.
So
I
normally, like when
did.
you do a regression, you must go to the subconscious mind and ask them, why did you show him this? Why did he experience this?
Right.
Because I mean, my goodness, to ask yourself questions about it, it's a lot to take in.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah.
It was too much. It's a process.
What happened to you? Did you go to your death?
Well, not too much. I don't know. Yeah, a couple of them.
Yeah.
But it was just two lives that were telling me a lesson at that specific time in my life. You know,
I needed it.
and I needed it, like guilt and shame issues and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. You needed it. I mean, it's always perfect. I mean, life is a hypnosis on its own. Like just everything. We're constantly being hypnotized. So you were just being hypnotized, or were you being dehypnotized? I don't know. You were just being reprogrammed in some way.
That's what the symbol is. That hypnotism symbol that we see in ancient, hieroglyphs everywhere, in ancient stones, the spiral. Yeah, they try to say it's pedophilia. That's part of that on their side. But like the truth of that symbol is that symbol, the hypnosis symbol. And
yeah,
they
in
show
Reiki,
it to
we
us.
use that. In Reiki, we use that symbol. Actually, we use, I just said it today. I was just talking to somebody about it. So in Reiki, we have a symbol. It goes across, down, and then we use that symbol because we're cutting energy. We're cutting the program. We're cutting the hypnosis. We're cutting the whatever energy that's there that doesn't need to be there anymore. We cut through it with Reiki.
Oh man, what show was it, man? With Uhtred. It was a show on Netflix with
the Vikings.
It was part of not the Vikings, but something. I think it was the Vikings. I'm not sure. 6 seasons. I forgot the name of it. But
not
one
the
of
Vikings. Actually, maybe it was a Viking.
No, it
no, that's how me and Layla usually argue. She'll come hot at me.
It was
too
almost
for
like the Vikings.
20 minutes. Abby's been involved in it before,
Uhtred.
where she's like, "No, don't try to tell me it was the Vikings." And I think it was the Vikings.
No, it's not. It's Uhtred. It's something totally different. It's like a different show that's related to the Vikings, but it's not.
Something
it's
in
about
that era.
The English kingdom and how it became, and all of that is pretty interesting.
The kingdom.
Yeah, the kingdom. But there's a specific scene.
I feel like it's like the kingdom might be the Jules watches those.
Yeah,
that's the.
I think it's the kingdom. Or
yeah,
something.
I think it's something like that.
Yeah. Anyway, there's a specific scene. Okay. So the king's child was like about to die. So one of I guess she's like a herbalist, but that was like not allowed, like the witchcraft of it all. But they knew that she could help. Like the king knew that she could help, but the queen was so against it. But like, do you want to save your fucking child? So what the lady did, she took the baby and she went by the shore of the water. And she made this spiral, okay? And she was in the center of it with the child. And I don't know what kind of magic happened, but the baby, next day, perfectly healthy. It was like on the verge of death, okay? But the secret is that in order to gain its life back, a life had to go, okay? So the child that did die ended up being Uhtred, the king's helper, the main character of the story. His child actually died, and it died out of nowhere. So it was like an exchange.
Life for a life. Yeah. You see, I have chickens, and always around the new year, one of my chickens gets killed. Always, like by Mother Nature. Like a fox will come and get it, or my dog will get it, or stuff like that. And I just say, all right, you know what? One time I meditated on it. I was like, what the fuck? Why do these fucking chickens keep dying? And what I got, the message was, let it be them and not yours. Let it be them and this. It's replacing something. If something you love was to go, let it be this. And I'm just like, take the chicken.
Oh my God. It's like, that's energy transference. Then.
Yes. So every time something like, when you lose something or whatever, you really set your intention on why you lost it. And it's always like something better is going to come. It's always something better is going to come. And when you look at it like that and you look at life that way, man, I mean, something better must be always coming.
Whoa.
And somebody in chat, they asked if hypnotism is a form of divination, and I would say all throughout time they would used to take the oracles and hypnotize them, sometimes on different herbs or sometimes different psychedelics. But part of what the message they would get from these different oracles or the virgins that the lepers would use would be under hypnosis. So it was very powerful. Even I would say some form of your own self meditation or your own mantras, they become self hypnosis.
Yeah.
What I want to dive into, I mean, I'm looking for someone, if anyone knows of anyone that is pregnant and wants to do hypnosis for birthing. Like, I would love to like send them hypnosis, like pre-recorded ones, and send it to them and just had them like listen to it during birth, before birth, all that stuff, and really just get their birthing
Wow.
completely hypnotized.
That would be interesting. I wonder if people have done that.
Oh yeah, hypnobirthing is a thing. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah. You can be hypnotized for anything. Like, you have a fear of something, you have a test that you want to study for, you have this that you need to do, you have that you need to do. Fucking hypnotize yourself. You're going to do it.
That's
Hypnotize yourself, like without the help of anyone else.
I mean,
you can.
You can,
It's
yeah,
tough.
you can. It's possible. I mean, I hypnotize myself when I go through meditation. I've hypnotized myself all the time. Whenever, just even envisioning your future is a form of hypnosis, right? Just seeing yourself, living yourself, going into it's an experience. That's what it's all about. It's about the experience.
like daydreaming and shit.
I kind of saw remote viewing as hypnosis, or hypnosis as kind of like a lens to remote viewing. Like, that's that next step.
Different dimension. It's going into a different dimension. Yeah.
Is like a form of like looking into a crystal ball, almost the same as looking into tea leaves, where looking into fire, where you're just allowing the pareidolia. Some people are more experienced in seeing the pareidolia that would create.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's all about how the message is given to you in your head. It's channeling. All in all, it's channeling, right?
Yeah.
It's all about the message from something, right? Something is giving you the message. When I always channel the divine, but I mean, other things can come through after that. I mean, you kind of differentiate the voices that you hear in your head. It's like, okay, am I speaking to like an angel? Am I speaking to like an entity? Is this my grandma?
So zoning out is channeling.
Yeah, so a lot of kids with ADD, ADHD, autism, and zone out a lot, right? They're not actually. Yeah, you're not like attention deficit. You're hyper attention, right? You can pick up more things.
Oh, yeah.
You're not just looking at one thing like this. You're not You're not like hypnotized in this direction. It's like the programming can come through easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ADHD thing, it triggers me still, just because it's like, what kid is not going to get all fidgety sitting there trying to learn about like one particular topic, but also the freaking education system, right? Like, you'll be learning. I remember this so distinctly, and this is why I'm so triggered by it. But like, you'd be learning about a topic, and then the bell rings, and like a Pavlovian dog, right? Like, you just have to turn that part of your brain off and go to the next class. And even if you're still vibing on like, man, what a cool experiment in, biology or whatever, it's like, this is math. You know what I mean? Like, we don't, like, you're not. And it's so weird, because the right way to do it would be to fully integrate all the different courses and everything. But I feel like that's kind of the root of some of these feelings that we got, especially when it comes to like school here.
Yeah.
Almost like
that. I send my little one. My little one goes to Montessori.
Montessori's great.
Like, highly recommend Montessori school. It is like they integrate everything with everything. It is just like you are in just life. She loads dishwashers at school. They have food on like real knife and forks and everything like that. And then they put everything in the dishwasher. They make the table. They put the napkins on the table. They're counting the napkins while they're doing it. They're counting how many kids are here. They're doing all of that stuff. They make their beds. It's like, it's real life and learning in real life.
Rifle club.
A rifle club?
A gun course.
They should have like archery and all that stuff in the background. I mean, I live in France, guys. Like, it's
we don't have that here either.
I I used to love gun club,
I mean,
man.
my husband's all about that. So he'll have the kids with little BBs outside. I live on 4 acres. Like we're like outside. The other day we had
Nice.
like dogs come, and my husband's like running out with like the BB, and I'm like, don't hurt the dogs. Just some like random dogs. He's like, no, they need to know they're not allowed on my property. The kids are here and everything. And like I have big old my German shepherds outside. Like it's nice.
It does look beautiful.
It's nice.
The
But I'm
frog.
thinking of another adventure though. Maybe
Mm.
another adventure coming up. France is getting a little bit.
You know,
Oh,
I think most of you guys
Really?
in here.
You're bored of France?
maybe Florida.
Definitely not U.S. right now.
Okay.
You guys, the state that you're the state that you're in right now is I'm thinking about maybe
It's lovely.
I'm thinking about Malaysia.
Oh, that's nice.
Really?
Really.
If you
Have
were in
Oh.
a U.S., maybe Florida.
Oh, if the U.S., definitely Florida.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm heading to California in 2 weeks.
Making sure. Stop.
I'm heading to California in 2 weeks. My first time visiting California. I'm super excited about that.
What part?
So we go to LA, and then we are heading to Desert Springs. I'm invited to be a guest at a retreat. And it's going to be an all-day retreat from like 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. She's even getting like the indigenous people, to come out and do dances around bonfires. It's going to be the shit. We have a guy who's coming out, a chef, doing your astrology meal. Like making your meal
Really?
to go along with your like signs, your
Ooh.
your horoscope. We have like sea moss smoothies coming out. Like I'm coming out to do like hypnosis for group sessions, private Reiki sessions, like stuff like that throughout the day.
Nice.
Past life stuff. And we have the massage coming, masseuse, everything. It's going to be so amazing. I'm so excited about it. I have an itinerary for
Wow, that is rad.
the whole week.
That is so awesome.
But yeah, I'm definitely
When
looking
is
into
it?
Malaysia. It's going to be on the 13th of April
Oh, okay.
in California. If anybody's interested, come on over.
Do
It's
world
actually Coachella
politics
week.
play in a lot into your like we're gonna move situation, or
It does.
you rely?
It does.
Do you have your own gut feelings about things, or
Yeah.
you use Reiki or
Yeah.
energy where you're like, okay, this seems like a good feel?
Yeah,
We're-
yeah. I
we're
feel
gonna-
it out for sure. I feel out all the different places. I mean, the world is my oyster. I want to go everywhere. I've never lived in an Asian country. I want to live in an Asian country. Like I just want to experience that. I want my kids to experience that. So Asian country is awesome. Malaysia is a Muslim country. That's awesome for me too. I love the Islamic rules. There is going to be no homophobe, like no teaching sex at school.
Yeah.
There's no those type of things that I want to teach my kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, more conservative. Like
Yeah, like I want to teach my kids. Like I want to tell them. I want to watch it in movies and be like, that's okay. That's allowed for people. But I don't want to push it in their faces like that. Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Your kids get to grow up like very multicultural.
Yeah, that's what I want them to do. I want them to
that's
see
the best
different
for a child.
cultures there. And also in Malaysia, they have a lot of Chinese people, so a lot of Buddhism. I want them to experience Buddhism. I want them to be able to experience, there's a lot of Indians over there, so Hinduism, so just to experience so many different cultures. I think it's very important, very respectable.
What
Absolutely.
if they really want to be Mormon deep down, though? You're gonna have to get to the state like sooner or later, right?
If they want to be Mormon,
Yeah. What if they want to be Mormon?
hey, I feel like I don't want to put on any electricity right now and just live in the darkness and like be all one with nature. We can adapt everything.
Oh, God.
Mormon.
I think we're all the
Sounds good.
same in the end.
That's so good.
Since go ahead, good.
I was just gonna say all the same. Like everybody's just on a search for God.
Exactly. Search for yourself, search for God. Same thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And as long as you believe, I don't think as long as you believe, I can't really say that. I mean, that's my belief system. I don't know what everybody else's belief is. Just believe in one divine energy source. That's all it's all about.
Yeah.
Divine
One
energy
energy
source. Do
One
you think
divine
people are
energy
working
source.
against? Do you think if there is a one divine energy source, is there a dark energy source, or is there people that are privy to any of this kind of divination? Like, are we watching evil on the planet play with divination, or are they just aware of powers that we all possess, but we've been like feared away from them?
Well, everything is intention. So everything is intention. There's only one divine energy source, and the intention used towards the energy source makes it good or makes it evil. You are good and evil. The divine source is not good or evil. It's just the divine source. I mean, you don't tell your electricity what to be. It's just wired in wherever you put it.
Yeah.
So we create the good or evil. I mean, that's the whole human experience, right?
Menaces. We're just menaces.
We are the devil and we are God.
Yeah. The machine elves.
I was just gonna say, but I didn't say it that way. Oh God. Y'all, you know, we do a lot of this and we zone out, but sometimes when we're just sitting there having our conversation on a telephone, you just take your pen and you zone out and you start scribbling and you start writing shapes or faces or whatever. And y'all don't realize most of the time that's divination. You like literally zoning out in that space. And you'll end up writing like weird words. Like, why did I write this word? Or why did I write this or draw this picture? Why did I whatever? And that's like a zoning out mode that we all do because we
are you zoning out or are you just tuning in?
Or that. But that's what they call it, you know,
that's what society would call it because that's a negative word.
Yeah.
I mean, not a negative word, but that's a
but it's like
that's a low programming word. You're saying that, oh, you're not in control. It's not supposed to happen. You're not supposed to do that, right? With like the neurolinguistic programming side of it, your words are very, very powerful. The words that they use to describe you, talk about yourself. I mean, yeah. So you're really just tuning in during that time. I love to tune in. I tune in, especially like when I'm in my meditation. Like you can channel. You could just. I mean, the whole objective of life is to always be tuned in.
Yeah.
To always hear the outside things that are talking to you. And so like I could be reading a book and all of a sudden the book will be like, yeah, and Earth was created by this and this. And in the background, the TV, my daughter will be watching TV and they're like, there's the Earth, it's going to have a big bang. Look, there's a comet coming towards it. And this Earth and that Earth and Earth creation and big bang is going on in the background. Like everything is just speaking to you. Yeah. It's just a way you go around getting the message or being able to see the message. You're speaking to me.
Yeah.
Do you think you could call on an energy? You know how they say people will start to write and then they'll start to draw something, but it's not really them.
Oh yeah, like you can do what is it called, writing? And, you know, it's
automatic
like
writing.
Yeah, automatic writing. There you go. You just start writing. You could just channel someone and just go.
It's called spirit writing too.
That's what I do when I do Reiki. You know, when I go to tune into your energy, I sit down and I'm like, all right, let me listen to what Cheney has to say. Go. And I just start writing. Like, this is happening right now and I'm so confused. I don't know why I'm feeling so confused. This is going on with me. And I'm like, just tell me what's going on. I don't know. There's something happening. And I'm like having a conversation with you and me and I'm just writing it all down. And then that's how we discuss. That's where we go.
I hate to say it, but that sounds exactly like Mormonism too.
Really?
No.
That's how we got the Book of Mormon. Yeah, the Joseph Smith
automatic
writing and just decked out like a huge cohesive story, allegedly in like just a few different sittings, and it was just like not even thinking, just the words are coming out on the paper.
But that's
how they got the Quran too.
Yeah, and that's how a lot of you know, freaking scientists and, you know, famous people in the world, you know, having these ideas, they're just jotting it away. It's a form
divine
of
guidance.
Yeah. It's like we are the antenna and the receiver. It's like, you know, we ask for the intention of whatever we're looking for, and whatever frequency you're on, you will get whatever message is out there for you on that frequency. So it's like tuning into a radio station, 96.7, and all of a sudden I reach a 96.7, and those ideas that are in that realm for me, I'll just
are all there. And that's why so many people are not aware that their thoughts are not even their thoughts. You know, that's why people commit suicides, or, you know, people like really go into depression or whatever. It's because they're living in a low vibration. So they're picking up those low vibrational thoughts. They're in that frequency. You know, they're like heavy metal or whatever. No offense to people who like heavy metal, but, you know, it's a different vibration. And then when you live in a higher one, it's a little bit different.
Well, no, they say it's different. They don't say it's low vibrational, the rock. It's very high vibrational.
Oh, I'm just saying for me, it's just noise,
yeah.
like nah. But yeah, I mean, it can definitely put you in the zone.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, there's some people that get like messages in their head, like where they get it clear as day. Couldn't that be an earworm? Like if the universe only knows the language that you know, couldn't you get a song stuck in your head and the universe is trying to get you to finish the message to yourself?
Oh yeah, sometimes you get messages through songs and music and everything.
Like some people are very educated on tarot, and then the whole world knows you speak the language of tarot, so when you're going to flip a card, it knows what you have to see, whereas other people might throw bones or use a wheel of fortune.
Yeah.
And Thomas has talked about a whole bunch of times how like Vegas entirely, all the things inside the casino used to be used for very high magic, but because they put them and they make them just about money, it like pulls down all this level and power kind of these instruments that used to be considered like very like you're going to put all this energy into these cards and you're going to get maybe the Medici back, or you're going to put all this energy into these dice, and if it lands on certain numbers, that could mean the difference of you going to war or not, or when you have your child, or but now we just do it for money.
Oh yeah, and then we're doing it for money, but we're also attracting low vibrations when we're doing it because people don't have the money. Sometimes that they're doing it as an escape. They don't have the money, they're addicted to it in some way, or they, there's a lot of alcohol going on in that area. There's a lot of heavy things happening. So a lot of the time, the energy around that, would be heavy energy. And sometimes there's entities on their own, so there'll be entities that will follow you home from places like that and latch on to you. So
I relate this to tobacco a little bit too, where we took something that used to be sacred and turned it into a vice that you should be ashamed of, and maybe even have to go to like counseling over. And I'm talking about gambling, but it used to be poker was tarot and the roulette wheel was the wheel of fortune, and every one of the games that they kind of have that you bet money on. But yeah, now it's like they're vices and they're bad things and keep them away from kids. Kind of like cigarettes and tobacco, where it's just been commoditized to the point where it becomes an actual thing that maybe is a little bit shameful or doesn't have like the original sacred aspect to it. And I don't know if it's like intentional or if it's just humans' propensity to like just go like so hard at something until you burn it out. It's like when you find like a song you really like and you just listen to it 100 times in a row and you're like, well, I'll never listen to that song again. I love it, but I'll never hear it again.
Well, I think it goes along with the energy of an addiction, and anything that you're addicted to has power over you. And the whole idea is that we never want something else to ever have power over us. We want to be in full control. Like if I want to say I don't want to smoke a cigarette for the day, I'm fucking not going to smoke the cigarette for the day. You know what I mean? I have that much power over this thing. And when you give away your power, the whole idea is for you to get your power back. So shit happens so that you can try to get your power back.
Yeah, I like that.
Have you heard the word Besa?
Besa, Besa.
No.
This is a word that Lila has taught us, and it means like you're a person by your word. Like no matter what it is, no matter a relationship, no matter like showing up for yourself, you either have Besa or you don't.
That's all you've got though.
Yeah.
That's all you got. In the end of the day, that's all you got. Your word is your energy, right?
Yeah.
What you speak is who you are. So if you can't speak, that's why I love fasting. It takes away your ego. Like it gives you that ego death that we also very much need. I have my 14-year-old son and he's fasted. Like that's crazy. Like even today he was fasting and he went to go play football, and I picked him up at football. I was like, how was your day? I was like, you know what? Listen, I'm going to tell you something. If you did this, you can fucking do anything, kid. You can fucking do anything. That's what I told him. I was like, you are a G.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that shit is that you're a powerful kid. Like you set your intentions to whatever you want, you're gonna get there. Just please be a millionaire, multimillionaire. Like, you know, like set them really high, like fucking high. Because, you know, as much as this world is like that, you need money to make the world go around, you know?
Yeah, for
You
yourself.
yeah,
Your
for yourself.
castle.
Like you don't need too much money, but you need abundance. You need to be able to say, hey, I want this, and I'm gonna be able to get it.
Yeah.
That's what it's all
Yeah,
about. I
everybody
don't
in
need to
the
have
world.
all of it.
Yeah, it's like it's a fuck you money. It's
So what?
so it's fuck you money. It's easier to ride in your authenticity when you don't have somebody that you're answering to. Otherwise, most people have a third of their day that they have to
No,
ride.
yeah.
I always say this pretty much. I don't give a fuck. Like nothing really affects me unless you can fire me or you fuck me. And so I don't really care. So the only two people who can really get to me are my boss and my wife. If those two, other than that, it's just like.
But Cheney, you know
Really?
what? I need you to get to the point now where you're your own boss.
Yeah, that is
You're and I think you're gonna make some money off of these things that you're doing. Like I really think so. Like I am getting that vibe from you that you're gonna go there and you're gonna make it so that you don't have to answer to anyone else but
No,
yourself.
I'm gonna have fuck you money.
And your wife.
I wish
and
that
answer to her.
on all of us, from your mouth to the divine's ears.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you guys need to get. We want you guys to get to that level now, right?
I've
Like,
got the fuck you part. I just need to figure out the money part.
Right. Right. Exactly.
I
And
did
we
it in
wanna
the
see
wrong
what-
order, I
what's the-
think. No one
what's the
told me that
belief
you're supposed to do
system?
it in the right order.
Well,
no,
you
what's
get
the
to-
belief
I'm not even
system
at the
that's
fuck you
blocking
part.
you?
Yeah, what's
gotta-
blocking you?
What's
Yeah.
blocking
What's
you?
blocking me?
What's blocking me?
Yeah.
I mean, if you go to just paranoidamerican.com and just start throwing stuff in the cart, that solves the problem immediately.
You know, one thing that I've realized about America, guys, you guys are fucking way. I never use the word expensive. First of all, it's not allowed in our vocabulary at my house. It's either overpriced or out of my budget.
Mhm.
Those are the two words we're allowed to use: overpriced or out of my budget. Overpriced because nothing is more expensive than you. Nothing. I'm worth trillion, a billion. Like you can't pay nothing for me, right? So, America is really, really overpriced.
It really is.
It is fucking overpriced.
It's not the Americans' fault.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
it's they're really shitting and sticking a shit
It's
up,
all a
like a
game.
stick up your shithole. Because in France, like I will go out to the supermarket with my sister. She came to visit recently from America. I went to the supermarket and I filled up my cart. Like I went today, I bought a case of strawberries, like this big. I bought so many things. $150.
yeah, it's not.
Yeah, we get 2
$150.
bags now.
Yeah, for
That's
We used to-
ridiculous.
Yeah, $150 back in the
Yeah.
day. My mom, like one of our rules when I was a little kid, like if you got to be in the cart, you had to hold the cart that my mom was pulling behind us because sometimes she'd watch other kids, and so and my mom could make $100 fill carts, like a
Yes.
train of carts. Now I go to Walmart, which I don't even like Walmart, but this is what I can afford now. Unless I'm lucky that I live in Florida and I have a fruit stand like within a mile from, you know, in either direction. So a lot of my produce and stuff I can get really local and stuff. But other than that, I'm like, I can't believe how far money used to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy. And it's not like we're all making a bunch more.
That's what I wanted to say. Like, make it go up, but you guys need to go up with it.
That's
Like the
not
people
enough.
need to be raised with it. Like,
Well, some of the
it's-
prices were supposed to just go up temporarily and then just never went back down. Because, like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, who's gonna go out of their way to change the menus and print all the new price tags and then go back and be like, oh, let's lower it again? Like, there's no reason for a lot of any of that to ever happen.
Yeah, but something has to give, right? It has to be like a balance. Things have to be at a balance. It cannot be like this. If it's like this, it's
Daddy
just,
Trump, baby.
They
something
set
needs to
the
happen.
entirety of Social Security on like the price of gas,
Oh my God.
milk, and eggs during 1/4 of the year. So during that quarter of the year, whoever the president is lately, they come in and they'll make gas and eggs and milk a little lower for that period of time because the baby boomers are the biggest generation ever, and all of them are officially on the tit of the government. So if they make the first quarter of the year everything a little cheaper, then all of their money, even though they've all paid in their whole lives into this thing, all their money goes down of what they get for the rest of the year, and then everything else goes back up so they can barely afford to live. That's why they're all doing reverse mortgages on their house. That's why
Yeah.
all of them are taking cruises to other countries to afford their medication. It's like a whole system set up. And the baby boomers, they can't just kill them all. That was your grandparents in the nursing homes. The baby boomers, they're the ones that have decided and been brainwashed on everything. They've allowed Rockefeller, they've allowed all these things. So they're the ones they want to keep alive because they're going to supply the medical system. They're going to push the big pharma. They're the ones that have bought into everything. They've latchkey raised us. So it's just like they're the ones that are going to retire, always be this voting demographic that fights back and forth. They're the CNN, Fox News, and that's what the world's kind of getting set up toward, like that big generation.
How much do you guys pay right now? Like, I hope you don't eat McDonald's, but how much would like a Happy Meal? I mean, like a Big Mac meal.
That. 2 people, almost $50.
What?
Yeah.
Probably, yeah, like 35.
Yeah, I never eat out anymore.
If we were gonna go to like a Taco Bell, probably like
cheaper.
If we spent $100, the 5 of us in the room, we might be able to eat and get a drink.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me tell you, France is less than that, a lot less than that. But Malaysia, do you know how much it is for like one person to eat, let's say McDonald's? Because I think that's what everybody kind of. I actually saw somebody told me there's an article that compares all the different McDonald's across countries. And like in America, like say one Big Mac meal would be like $25 or something, right? In Malaysia, it's $4. Fucking
Yeah, that's what we used to pay. Not anymore.
$4? How come in America it's like that, and then in a different country it's like that? Like it's crazy.
We're being fleeced.
Yeah.
Because we're just little sheep, and sheep need to get fleeced.
It's crazy.
I just had a mental vision of the video I posted and the thing, the worm and the Burger King.
Oh, that was so gross. That was so gross.
I didn't see it. Can you?
Oh
can you
yeah,
describe it?
that tripped me out. That's been tripping me out for days.
It is
so
fucking
gross.
disgusting. And he's still chewing.
It's less like, and he just seems like this country American guy in the middle of somewhere in Carhartt. You can tell he's working because the stuff looks like it's worked clothes. And then he has an open like McDonald's in his lap, and he's like, "Yo, what just fell out of my McDonald's?" And he's still chewing. He lays his burger in his lap, and on his sweatshirt is this little white like maggot
disgusting.
grub, like moving and pulsing, and he's still chewing. Like he gets his phone out and records it, and he's like, it's on his sweatshirt, just pulsating.
Did he say just what the fuck?
I mean, pretty soon though,
I would
a Big
vomit.
Mac is going to be just worms,
Realizing,
right?
oh my god,
It is.
Yeah,
what is happening?
I don't eat out.
So is everything falling? Like, is civilization crumbling? Are we finally witnessing this?
Fuck that.
Or is it just
Not my timeline.
Not yet.
Like,
No.
I think.
what are
part of
they
it,
saying
though, is-
out there? I've been trying not to pay
They
attention to
want
things.
us
So
to. They want us
is that what they think is happening?
I think they're trying to phase out the older class, like anyone that's actually relying on Social Security or whatever retirement funds and pensions. Like they need, like the country needs them to just exit stage left a little quicker. So one of the ways you can do that is just make all those pensions and retirement funds just worth nothing. So now you can't really retire necessarily. And I think part of that is just like it'll break your spirit, but also you can't afford to get that life-saving surgery. So maybe you don't get to live to 100, you get to live to be 70 or 65 or something. And that's kind of baked in to like the system and inflation. And I don't think it's just a monetary thing. It's like a social construct. I mean, I'm tapping into silent weapons for quiet wars here, but using the economy, it would be the same thing as using the arm of like law enforcement. They're just different ways to apply pressure onto the same circuit board.
That fucking pisses me off. What are we doing, yo?
Well, don't you think a lot of it with the baby boomers on Social Security is they're not only are they trying to set up like a secession North-South narrative, but they're trying to set up, black and white, women versus men, this versus that. And so they're also trying to set up these two big generations against each other. We're hearing about the millennials and the baby boomers. And so really, in my opinion, they're pushing this yang idea of you guys all want a universal wage, and why would you just let the baby boomers get a universal wage? Because you guys want a universal wage too, because the second they can get everyone on the tit of the government, especially if it's in the form of crypto or some form
program.
of credit,
I mean,
they got me. Now they can tell me exactly what my medical is. They can say Cheney's not allowed
controllable.
to eat this.
If you don't vote for this person, it's going to go away. If you don't
You're
do
not going to have
this, it's
free
going to
speech. You're on the Everything app now, and here's how you get paid in your universal income. And just like the baby boomers, you get this free $1,300 a month, like Andrew Yang told you about on Joe Rogan.
That's why you guys got to not be able to depend on anybody, right? You got to just try to
Wait a minute. Hold on. What about this idea though? What if, the currency of the people in control, who runs the world, they want that currency. They can't really make anything with that fake currency. You know what I'm saying? The digital one. So what if this is like a good thing in a sense of like, they can't collect actual real money anymore.
They don't care about the money.
You think?
If we're all on crypto, they don't care. They want that's what they want. Like if we're all on crypto and then the dollar's useless, and if the dollar's useless and gold and silver are useless, like they want us to eventually go toward that, because we'll all be inside our houses working from home. So if I have silver, how am I going to get that to Layla?
Yeah.
If I have $1, how am I going to get that to Layla? I have to do it on crypto. I have to do it. And the only thing that's going to be running after all the solar flares and hacking, the Everything app.
It's just a easier way to trace things. It's just a very easier way to trace things. But again, everything is evolving, right? We went down from I don't know what we used to pay with in back stones,
gold,
shells, clams.
Yeah, I don't
bartering.
know.
They used to barter. Someone said it. I wish we could make a revival bartering.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I've got mixed feelings on the agorism stuff, because one of the scenarios that comes up a lot is that if you're the shoemaker in town, right? That's your currency, is you make everyone's shoes. And then if you're the butcher in town, that's how a lot of those bartering systems are supposed to work. But I always wonder what if, a tree in my yard falls over and it kills the shoemaker's kid, and now the shoemaker just never wants to sell me a pair of shoes ever because of something that was out of my control. Does that mean that I just never get a pair of shoes ever? Or it turns into a soup Nazi situation where if I get someone else to get the shoes and then they give the shoes to me, well, now they can't get shoes either. And it puts it into the same these societies where everyone kind of specializes in one thing. They also get to create monopolies where all of a sudden, if you piss off the butcher, well, you don't eat meat anymore. And if you piss off the farmer,
isn't that what kind of happens?
But can't that person also not the person, but the next person just try to learn how to make the shoe and learn that same magic?
But then it gets into this. Now you and Gordy both make shoes, and I am a welder, and I consider my skill a lot higher than both your shoemaking skills. And so if you're going to want me to come and weld your thing, how many pairs of shoes are you going to make me now? I don't want your shoes, Layla. Gordy will give me 20 pairs of shoes for my work. You'll only give me 10. And even though his are not as good a quality as yours, I don't care about quality right now. I can turn around and sell that 20 pairs of shoes and get plumbing work, tomatoes, and a chicken.
So I guess crypto doesn't sound so bad then.
It's demand, right?
Either way.
No, but here's the difference of crypto. You are doing nothing. It is dead energy. It is an arm on a slot machine or a button on a slot machine. Whereas the conductive metals used to be a placeholder for my actual skills. Now there's no such thing as that. That's why even
Skills.
the change, like the change, they wanted our change because that is the usable metal. That's why in Jamaica they make 1 cent, 1 cent in a $50,000 bill.
Not a bill.
But isn't
Because
that
they
better
want
not
the change.
but isn't that better not doing anything so they don't lose your energy? Like they've been harvesting our energy through our work while they sit on their thrones and they just harvest and harvest your essence. It's like essence harvest by taking our energy and creating the
But
world
that's
literally.
just because they said that their energy is more powerful than our energy. They said it. They made it that way. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah.
they thought of themselves as better than better than us in some way, more worthy of something. That's why I
think
was
I'm
saying.
better than
That's why
them.
I was exactly. You gotta have
Fuck
that
them.
mentality. Not better than them. You're just better
I
than
am better than them. Fuck that.
yourself yesterday, right?
So much better than them.
This isn't 51% Layla.
Fuck that. Who are they?
Yeah.
Like who the fuck are they? Like literally.
They're someone who
Vegan.
has less limiting beliefs than us.
Yeah.
They have less limiting beliefs than us.
Fucking annoying. I'm tired of it. I'm like, I'm one person. Like, I would just like, yo, it's like 50,000 of them. How many do they exist?
Let me
really?
ask you a
50,000?
question, Leila. If you had all the money in the world, you were abundant. You don't have to have all the money in the world. That's the thing. You just you can do anything you want to fucking do, right? You know, if you want to get on a plane and you want to fly over
You
to
get a
the
million.
south of France,
You get a million. You get a million. You get a million. Everybody gets a million.
yeah.
And now eggs cost $10,000.
At least I did my part to help in some major way. Like, who would give $1 million to every single person on earth?
maybe I would. Maybe giving them $1 million is thing. I would just try to like say, hey, whatever you want to happen, I'll make it happen for you. Like Cheney, what do you want to happen? You want to go on a
No,
vacation
that's
to
too much
Hawaii?
work. Just
All
take
right.
$1 million. Go. Enjoy yourself.
Yeah, but then that's a lot of money being thrown out, you know? So it's like, all right, Cheney, here, book it.
No,
Go, Leila, what you want? Do you want
it's
this?
like
All
a
right, go
gift.
book
It's
it.
not being thrown out. Like when you're giving with your whole heart and soul and wanting to really change the world and not see hunger anymore, like
Oh,
a
Have you ever
starving
heard
child anymore.
I think BB King says this, and he
Mhm.
says a guitar can only play the blues if it's been pawned.
Mm.
And sometimes I think that that is only
Very
a
important.
real pool player. Only a real pool player has pawned their stick. Only a real musician has pawned their, because there's more to it than that. And once you get that thing back, because it meant that much to you to get that thing back, it's like it understands now what the blues is.
Oh, yeah.
It understands now what jazz is. It understands now what soul is. But you don't understand that ever when you just got your guitar on credit and it was just an easy go in life.
That's funny
Sometimes
that
you
you
need to
said
be in
that.
the gutter.
Sometimes that's funny that
Yeah.
it coming from
It's
you,
the thing.
Cheney.
Yeah.
You've been in the gutter and you can sing your blues.
So in
It's
the
officially
divination of
1
that
year
all,
ago. I will tell you, 1 year ago today, I shaved my head because
And
my
look at
hair
your
was
hair, I
falling
loving it.
out in my hands. And I was just like, this is the only bit of control I can have is if I shave it myself before it falls out. And I was such a scrawny little bitch. And I had seen this vision of myself shaving my head for a friend, like shaving my head because the robot can't see what would hurt it. And so every time I would have visions of the future in my clairaudient, clairsentient, clairvoyant ways, I never knew it was going to be me because it would have changed every course and every direction of my whole life. And once I saw myself, because I took a mirror outside and I shaved my head in a mirror outside. And once I saw myself in the mirror outside doing it, and my best friend, who I've known since I was 15 years old, was standing behind the mirror holding it. And she was the friend I thought I was going to have to shave my head for one day. Like we were just going to go through this
Wow.
journey. And when I was seeing her hold the mirror, and I was in it shaving my head, it was like I had this full Ouroboros of it was always me. It was always me that was going to do it. Like my scariest thing of me showing up for one of my friends, like I'm going to shave my head with you so you don't have to do this alone. It was always just me shaving my head and I was all alone, but it was okay because my friend was on the other side of the mirror.
Yeah.
And it was like more powerful than, I don't know. But
That's perfect.
I kind of like those things. I left my hair out for the birds. for them to
Aw,
make their nests.
that's
Oh, that's
awesome.
sweet.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good one. That's a good
Yeah.
way to
I
use
was
it.
like, good
You
luck
know,
with
your
that chemo
hair is
hair.
very powerful.
Yeah.
Maybe it was medicine for them.
Yeah, little strong birds.
Uh-huh.
That was going to be some strong little nest. Take away
Yeah.
all those the worms that are coming in them.
I know. What were you gonna say, Abby? I feel like I
Oh, I
interrupted
was just
you.
saying the whole divination of it all, like when you're talking about the pawn shop and, guitar that's been pawned can play the blues, what happens to a gun that's pawned? I know a lot of people pawn guns.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I
I
think
wonder
it's
what
the
that would
same.
mean.
I think it's the same kind of instrument, like the same kind of. If you got your gun back, it meant something to you, like you used it to protect or provide, and so maybe in the same way you used it to feed yourself, which I think would be the same as the guitar or the pool stick.
Mm.
Like somewhere you
Can you
used it
play
to
the
feed
blues with a
yourself.
gun?
I've seen it with a beer bottle, not a gun. Because there's New York City, no guns in New York City. Or they're allowed now, aren't they? Aren't people allowed to carry in
No
New York
idea.
now?
I
Thought it was
think
just
that technically you're
Chicago,
allowed,
right?
but the process in order to get one is made so incredibly
Hmm.
hard that only like the most elite can actually get to the end of that process.
Mm. Mm.
I have
Doesn't stop people anyway.
a divination question, but I think it was Solomon, maybe David too, but couldn't they speak to the birds? And isn't there something with that? There's like a whole name for it.
Language of the birds, green language.
Yeah, but I think it's like an ob shit. I don't know. I went down a rabbit hole about it one day, but Solomon, David, but I also don't know if it's just stories from the Talmud that they did this, and if it's not like, or the Hadiths. And so I
Yeah.
don't know how true it is, but then there's stories of people throughout time, and they even not just messengers to each other, but that all throughout every culture, there's this like
Ornithomancy.
something where they like throw up things, even like the feed the birds Toppins a bag in Disney. But that was, even though she looked to us like this really poor thing, she was kind of doing her own kind of Medici with the birds and the way they fed on the
Home Alone 2.
stuff.
Home
Oh
Alone 2.
yeah,
The bird
see,
lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's
Is that
always
really Mary Poppins? But after she moves to New York and can't afford it.
Ooh, she got the coat and the hat.
Yeah, but I think
That's
definitely
right.
animals can speak to us, all the time. Like for
augury.
example, if my
The
dog starts
augurs.
to bark, if my dog starts to bark outside, that means there's some anger that's happening somewhere. So if I'm channeling someone, for example, and my dog starts barking, and I'm like, "Ooh, my dog's very angry right now." So there must be some anger going on with you. Or if I hear like an owl in the background, I was like, "Oh, talk to me about a grandparent that has passed away." Or there's someone in your family that has passed away. So animals can definitely talk to you. It's just I think I put the message on what the animal is trying to say to me.
Yeah,
This is
exactly.
weird. I feel bad about this, but I've been trying to get rid of this hornet nest in my backyard, and I swear every time I go out there, and it's just mass murder. I'll kill like 100 of them, and when I come back inside, my dog is like amped. Like it's almost like the dog can sense like some crazy like violent energy has happened in its sort of domain, and like she's ready to like go crazy.
Yeah, I mean, she can sense. Other animals sense everything, right? They know what's going on. You're the one that told us wolves.
Zeus.
So
What was just pulled up?
Oh, it was the
That's
augury.
pretty
Augury.
Yeah, I don't know why it came to me like that, but I guess that's what they called it in Greek, but it probably had a different word in the Middle East.
I'm not sure what it is.
It's a weird because I just dreamt the other night that I had a macaw. Like I called the macaw to me and put it on my arm and I kissed it. It's like it was the green wing, red
what day was
macaw with
it?
the green wings. 2 days ago. I
There was
posted
a
a thing on my story like the next day because it was literally my dream. Like, but I always have a bird, but the bird's always changing. So now it's a red macaw. So
So there's a
Um,
oh, good.
there was a giant raven that dive bombed Dinky the other day. The thing was huge, man. It was enormous.
That was me. That was me.
I figured.
I was working like Bran from
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, and I was
Pay
like,
attention.
So Zeus also spoke with the birds, and one of the stories of Zeus was he went on one of the mountains. I forgot what the mountains were called, but according to Greek mythology, Zeus two eagles, one to the east and one to the west, to find the center of the earth, and they met at Delphi. The ancients considered Delphi to be the most important and holiest of places. Mythology tells us there was a temple dedicated to Mother Earth, guarded by the serpent Python. So they all met, and that's what the symbol represents: two eagles joining at that point.
That's Florida, y'all.
Two equals
then
joined,
Odin-
you say?
Odin
The
had
two-headed
the
eagle.
two crows, and they were thought in memory. So they kind of give him like foresight and visions of the past.
So you
That's
think it's
crazy
just
that you
paying
said the name
attention, though,
Odin.
Beans? Why Odin? Oh, well, because
No, but-
Odin and Zeus?
Yeah, Odin and Zeus, but it's so funny. My dog's father's name is Odin. And my dog came to me in a dream before I got him. So I dreamt of two wolves in my dream, and one wolf, the wolves actually came up to me and they're like licking me in my face. I was like in the forest, and one wolf told me, "Oh, I'm going to come into your 3D." And the other wolf told me, "I'm going to be here in the astral with you. And I'll always walk next to you." And this one's like, "I'm going to come and protect you in the 3D. And before that, my husband was like, "We're not getting a fucking dog." Like, it was just not going to happen. And after that dream, my daughter just started nagging about a dog, nagging and nagging and nagging. We got a German Shepherd. His name is Dominion.
Oh, that's an awesome name.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good name.
His name is Dominion. He is a beast. Like, his dad was Odin. His dad was massive. He must have weighed, well, Dominion weighs 33 kg. That's like
Dominion.
70 pounds. He's a good one. He looks like a
I
wolf.
like that word.
Do you think people could tap into birds at the level of Maleficent and having the crow and being the eyes for you? Do you think you could tap in with a bird that deep?
I think
for
you
that
can,
to be
yeah.
possible? Yeah.
Layla,
I think
this
you have to have a
sound
gift.
for you.
Huh?
Is this sound, whatever's happening right now, good?
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
like when you picked up your mic and talked in it, it was like good
Nice.
sound.
Was it not good before? I'm
No,
sorry.
it
I
was good.
didn't
It was
notice
good,
until it was like ding.
It's
It
pretty.
like
It's pretty.
radiated
Oh,
when it
thank
was
you,
like,
guys.
yeah.
Yeah.
Aw, shucks.
One thing I learned in lucid dreaming is that, like, in lucid dreams, you can fly. Like I was lucid dreaming and flying last night. I was teaching my son how to lucid dream, or how to fly in a lucid dream last night. But like, you can turn. One thing that's really cool to do is to turn into a bird to fly. You'll
Yeah.
actually watch your whole body change. You'll watch your beak grow and everything, and you'll flap your wings. It's different than just because you can just float and fly, or run and jump and fly, or like Spider or Superman fly. But
Pedal
becoming
into
a
the
bird,
sky.
And all
becoming
it
a bird
takes
is
is
different.
surrendering to it, right?
I was gonna start my
Yeah,
thesis
just
on this.
deciding.
You know,
How
I'm
fly.
nowhere near advanced enough in my lucid dreaming to just like fly in any form. Is there a way you could just like Superman? Like you're just like, okay, I'm gonna
Yeah.
fly now and just like zip
That's
up. And...
Yeah.
I've done it
My
in
son
dreams
loves
a
to do
lot.
the Superman. I don't
Yeah.
Superman well. I try. That's like the one way I can't fly. Like, it's weird. Like
Well,
I could
what
float.
does it make you wake up, or do you just unable to do it?
Like, I probably could do it. What I've noticed is, like, with my dreaming intention, if it doesn't work right away, I have to close my eyes. Like, and a lot of people, if they close their eyes, they lose their lucidity. But if I close my eyes, then I like get rid of the outer importance or whatever, and I can
In the
just
dream, you
use my
close your eyes.
yeah. I close my energy body eyes in the dream.
dream.
Yeah, and then I tell
Not before
myself,
the dream.
okay, I'm gonna walk through a wall, because like walking through walls, the first time I lucid dreamt and tried to walk through a wall, like I tried to stick my arm through it, and I literally it was solid. I could feel the solidness, I could hear it, but it literally took me like
Always got to throw that out there.
I
It comes
know.
up so often, you have no idea.
Do you know
Because
throughout
it's
my
one of the coolest things to do is to practice
It
that
is.
because they're not like it's not they have substance in the dream realm.
yeah,
Like they
do you
are
kn-
solid.
do you know my whole life, like I was training in dreams flying. Like I had courses of flying in dreams to the point like I would like literally crash and like wake up because through my training experiences in the dream realm, and now like I actually control my flight in the dream realm. So it's like a lot of I've had so many dreams where I'm just flying and I lose control. Like I get in that fear mode and I start to crash. But when I accept myself in that flight mode and not fear it, that's when I fly longer and don't crash. So I've learned how to like
Mm.
do that in that space, which is weird.
I kept floating last night and trying to come back down and I couldn't come back down, but I was enjoying it. It was fun,
Yeah.
but
Have you guys just ever tried to bamf like Nightcrawler to fly?
Like what?
Like, so I tried to lucid dream one time
Amp?
to do to be like each Marvel or X-Men mutant
oh,
power, right?
good
That's
So I
idea.
would focus on one mutant power at a time, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be Nightcrawler, and I'm gonna bamf onto the roof of this house. Then I'm gonna bamf onto the other house, and I started doing this, right? And I'm like, oh, I could just fly and go bamf, 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 and then I'm like, wait, I could just be there. So in your dream, I'm like,
Yeah.
you just
Well, that's
skip the whole step of having to, like, once you figure out the flying, you're like, oh, I could just teleport.
well, yeah, and I mean, I learned like I had guides show
You
me
can
in
do
the
anything.
dream how to teleport, how to teleport, like which you can just do it with the intention, but then they taught me how to do it with the artifact too. Like they handed me a button from a shirt, and they just said squeeze the button, then decide you want to be on that train, and I did, and it worked. So they showed me how to use artifacts to do it in a dream, which was wild, but yeah, teleporting is the way to go, man. Well, so what I've noticed is I noticed this the other day when I was in Branson, Missouri. I've noticed it a lot lately, but there are places in the real world that like are a portal to other places in the real world. But like I noticed this because of dreaming and my dream mapping. Like because there's this like flower bed in my backyard here in Oklahoma that I know because of a dream that it's a portal to the front yard of my house that I grew up in. And then when I was in Branson the other day in Missouri, we drove by this like abandoned store, but I knew that that store parking lot is also a portal to like the smoke shop in Nevada. So like it's so
Hmm.
weird. Like I believe that they're actual physical portals, not just in the dream realm. I just think the dream realm shows them to you.
Yeah, that's cool.
I can get down on that. When I used to dream all the time, there was this spot that my sister, we weren't supposed to go over this one canal spot when we were kids. Like we were allowed to play in the whole neighborhood, but there was this one tube leading over the canal and we weren't allowed on the other side of it. But every once in a while, me and my sister would go on the other side of it. But in my dreams, it would always go to my grandparents' vacation trailer. And the last time I was in this vacation trailer was like maybe a week or two after my father died. And I saw him outside the trailer where it was always my safe spot in a dream. No matter how bad the dream went awry, I could always like make my way back to this spot. But he was outside and he looked younger and he was with some dog that I'd never seen. But I wanted to go with him. And he was like, no, you have to go back in the trailer. And it was weird that it was the separation of like the one time I wanted to leave the trailer. And he's like, no, like you have to go back inside. And it was like, oh, it's the only time. But I never saw the
Damn.
trailer again.
Do you I'm curious if there's any similarity between like a memory palace and lucid dreaming, because a lot of this stuff when
Yeah.
we talk about being able to teleport reminds me of how a memory palace works.
Well, that's like all dreaming because it's the collective unconscious. So it's a giant memory palace. It's the memory palace of the entire earth, every person that's ever lived and never will live. So it absolutely is. But it's like a film roll archive. So like you go in and you see other, that's why sometimes you're not yourself. You're like in somebody else's film roll. or like a alternative of their life, not even a life that they ever lived, but they're stored on like film rolls. That's where the idea of film came from. It came from the dream space.
Y'all, the sickest shit that I'm watching right now, fucking Moscow. They were in an opera, and this guy pulls out a fucking gun and starts shooting at
Yeah, there was an
everybody.
attack in Moscow. Yeah.
What the fuck? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, y'all. This is
Hey, that's
like
America's thing. They can't start trying to get better at us than our thing.
What?
Woo! That was intense what I just saw. Holy shit. Holy shit balls.
Well, I saw that earlier, and I was like, I wonder who was behind that programming.
Really? Why would they have a terrorist attack? It's probably the Ukraine, Russia thing.
Well,
If it's real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it AI?
Yeah.
Especially because that might just be a
knows?
story in the United States.
Oh. Or it could just be a Russian.
So bad.
Russia.
France.
Russia. What was it? Russia.
I was just thinking of like a communist Brady Bunch. Russia.
Yeah.
The whole Russia conspiracy. Russia did it. Russia. Oh, yeah.
yeah.
That's a spell. This whole divination of it all with the fucking, the mainstream media. That's divination.
Yeah.
It
Or
is.
predictive programming.
That's divination. It's control mechanism that they use on us, and we don't even think about that. With every
all of our energy will go in
movie-
that direction.
Yeah, every movie we
created-
watch, every show, every newscast, everything. It's divination.
Are they just the teacup with the tea leaves? They're just trying to show us the future plan, and then we're like, "Oh my god, this is gonna happen!"
Yeah.
And the more we are like, "That's gonna happen. That's gonna happen." It fucking happens.
Yeah.
Well, how you were
Magic.
saying you don't mess around so much with people's futures. You don't like it because you don't want to put something on their future that's not
No.
really theirs to take on, that they're going to manifest for themselves. And that is what I believe all of the fictional stuff that people think, no one knows me. I have my own Netflix and it shows me my own algorithm. I have my own history channel. It shows me my own algorithm. I watch my own news. Nobody knows I BBC. I get really educated. I watch world news. But we're all like picking this exact programming, exactly who we are just by the show that we watch. So we're like showing it exactly what we're going to feed on. And then we watch something like Netflix in a fictional way. So we relax. And then it shows us doom and gloom and the Twin Towers collapsing and aliens coming or whatever thing. And then we all sit and collectively manifest it. So when we see it on the news, it's not a surprise because Leonardo DiCaprio told us not to look up. And now we have a comet coming and an eclipse, and we're not supposed to look up. We'll keep looking at our phones.
Yeah. And I have this wonder about religion then. It makes you wonder about these books then, because it's a hypnosis.
Yeah.
And it's just like some people take it way too literal and way too serious because they can't look past the people in their costumes saying this is the way with whatever it is. Like,
Or
I
this is
understand
the end.
Yeah, or this is the end, or we're gonna get raptured,
Or this is how it's supposed to be.
Dajjal is coming, or all these ideas, and it's like, how about we manifest something else and not doom and gloom? And maybe people need religion, but I did a poll on my Instagram, and 95 or 97% of people see God in everything, and that's what I wanted people to understand.
I voted.
Yeah, if you need a God in a book, fine, but I see God in everything. I see it in you. I see it in every person that I meet. It's just a reflection, mirror realm. So,
and just to piggyback on what you guys are saying a little bit. So I have this event coming up later on today where there's a bunch of ladies, like international ladies, meeting, and I'm hosting a workshop, and I've been subliminally programming them in the chat because there's a group chat of all the ladies coming, and I've been subliminally programming them the whole time to try to program them to see what color clothes I can get them to wear.
Oh, these are fun little games.
Oh, that's really cool.
Like I love to do
like a mentalism tricks.
Yeah,
Do
like
you ever watch,
that's fun.
Darren
programming.
Brown? You ever watch Darren
No.
Brown?
I don't really watch a lot of things. Sorry.
Oh my God! Well, you mentioned
Darren
hypnosis.
Brown.
You've mentioned NLP a couple times, and Darren Brown, in my mind, is like the perfect combination of those to make it entertaining and educational. About like he'll take NLP tactics and he'll kind of show you what the tactic is, but then he'll do some he'll convince people to rob banks. He'll convince people to push other people off buildings. He'll convince someone that like the zombie apocalypse has come, and like he'll give them a fake gun and see how they react to it. And I mean, there's obviously a little bit of grandstanding, but he's using legit NLP tactics, like no question about it.
Yeah, I studied neurolinguistic programming. I really love it. I mean, neurolinguistic program with hypnosis, you could run the world. I mean, you can definitely help to reprogram someone. And I think that's really, really cool.
Don't you think that is how some world leaders do run the world?
For sure.
Oh, NLP is used all the time.
For sure.
Well, and my understanding is NLP is just the study of these like behaviors. It's not like the elite like figured out NLP and now they use it. It's like they know how to do very specific things. Some people were born almost with like rhetorical skills, right? And that's just one of the things that NLP tries to like study and then break it down into a science and say, okay, here's the 20 steps if you want to have like rhetorical success.
Yeah, here's the 20 steps on how you can create a reality. That's what it's all about, creating a reality with your words, casting spells.
Everything is
It's
just the
magic for
study of the
nerds.
people who do it naturally. It's like some people are just born with this innate thing, and then somebody else wrote a book about those people doing it.
Yeah. That's why I kind of love the fact I grew up in Jamaica, you know, because like I think Jamaica with patois and all that stuff, I think there's a lot of programming in that language, you know, and everything's a programming.
Like what?
I think Jamaicans are very like light energy. I mean, we're very like just laid back and cool and kind of don't take anything too seriously. Everything's fine, divine timing, bless up kind of thing. I think that's a programming on its own, is where you're born, where you're raised, the frequency of the country. Jamaica, don't get me wrong, has a dark vibration as well. There's some kidnappings going on and all that stuff happening underground. But it wasn't in my reality growing up. So did it exist? I don't know. Just wherever you're born, your whole life you've been programmed and neurolinguistic programmed your whole life from your parents, especially.
Bianca, what would you call it? So I think, Cheney, you may have mentioned it, but the other day, when you hear music, when something speaks to you in music, like, is that a part of the language of the birds? Like, just listening?
Yeah, it's just a message from the universe
to everything.
Yeah, numbers are messages. Like I keep looking up, and all of a sudden I was like 2122. You know, like all of those little moments are messages. Music is a message for you. Everything's a message. Again, it's the universe trying to program you, or I don't know if it's program you or deprogram you, but it's yeah. I mean, I think we're programmed not to look at those type of things, not to see the signs, not to put the pieces of the puzzles together. When
I definitely think we have helpers out there, like definitely helping us awaken, for sure.
So I wake up every morning with a different song stuck in my head. So, and it's not that I dreamt the song or anything, but I wake up and immediately I have a song, and then
is that your theme song for the day?
Yeah,
I guess, but like I didn't think of it as a theme song. I was like, what is the message? So I'd like I would download it on my phone. I'd listen to the song like several times, like first thing. But then I was like, there's got to be a message in this for me, and they all kind of seemed like maybe there was, until I got smacked that. And I was like, what the hell is that message supposed to be? Like,
you just need to vibe on that vibe today. Smack everything.
You just need it inside your brain so you have swagger.
Yeah.
It was like, take my breath though. Oh, I can't sing high notes anymore. My voice cracks. Gosh.
We can work on that.
Take my breath away. I
It's
don't know. I think it's
just
irreparable.
exercises. You can get it back.
We'll see. I used to be able to sing.
It just takes practice.
Everything is divination. Everything is divine.
Everything.
Everything you do, it's just insane. Like even like being in the water, like the things that I don't know, the things you feel when you're just in the water and you zone out. It's just a different realm you fall into. Everything is just divine. I love it. As crazy as it is, it's fucking insane, but I love it. I asked the question.
I just gotta ask though, just as
What?
devil's advocate,
Do
is
it. What?
everything that Jeffrey Dahmer did was divine? Because
It is.
was God just wanting
Well,
to
we're all
experience that aspect?
Dude, yeah, it
we're all a
is.
villain at sometimes in our life.
Because really, here dualities only exists in this realm.
Yeah.
Like once you go into higher realms, it's not good or bad. It just is. It's all part of the one.
Yeah, you can't be like a
And you
serial
have to
killer
have
in another realm.
catalysts. You have to have the bad stuff happen for the good stuff to happen. Like
Yeah.
you don't grow without hard times.
Like,
So
if you
you
can't
have to
handle
have
me at
like
my Hillary
so Jeffrey
Clinton-
Dahmer came here to be like he's probably very high spiritually, like a very high spiritual being. He
Well, he
came down
found
here
God
to
at the
be
end.
negative and to do the negative polarity, and he had to take a hit for that, but he did it
I've
for the
channeled
better
into
of
like
someone.
I've channeled into the Gaza war, and I'm just like, why is this happening? And it's like a lot of the angels or
Yeah.
higher beings picked to come down into this war to like show people faith, to show people like perseverance, show people like, just be there to wake people up on a different level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, oh man.
Yeah.
Even cooking. It's like I notice when I'm in that mood, like the love that I put in it and the thanks that, okay, I love you, whatever, onion. Like I'll put the love in it in my mind. I'm like, thank you, it just, but when I'm cooking with anger, it's just like a different,
It
I
doesn't
don't
taste
know.
as good.
Yeah, it's just different. Doesn't come out. Something goes wrong, and I get frustrated. And I'm like, fucking shit. But when you're in that space and everything's going right, and you're just all in that love zone and that hypnosis of like, I feel great. This is gonna come out great. You fall into this trance. Everything disappears, and you're just creating this fucking dish. Like you're.
But isn't that crazy?
Chocolate.
Isn't that crazy that you can actually give people energy? Like you can give people feelings. You can not even just through food, just through your thought alone. Like I can send somebody good vibes and they receive it. Like there's studies done with like meditation in rooms and distance Reiki and distance healing and all that stuff, and they've shown that people actually do receive the energy. You can feel the energy. You can measure the changeable energy that's happening.
But food is a big part. That's why they say be careful who you eat from as well. So it's like they'll just like, fuck this bitch. Bye bye. I hope she chokes on it. And da da da. Oh my god.
Have
It's
you seen,
like
That's going inside of you.
Like
It's
who,
one of the
who-
best
who
Yeah.
has full influence over
I
that?
love that movie.
Me too.
Chocolat?
It's so beautiful.
With
I
Johnny
think
Depp?
last time I spoke to Cheney, we were talking about that movie. Cheney, remember? I don't know if it was Chocolate. It was the other one where the lady was like making stuff and they ended up floating in the walls and floating in the ceiling, and like people would all start crying in the restaurant. We talked about that one time
That's
on my life.
Simply
Simply, yeah.
It's a great movie.
Great
I
movie.
wonder, does food taste different if you're happy or angry at the time? Like
Yes.
it's something. It's like a Schrodinger's question, right? Because by the time you've consumed it, and if it tastes good or bad, like it's gone. Like you're not. And what are you gonna do? Like save it until you're happy later and try it again? But I wonder if there's any sort of study on that. And I also wonder if what if the waitress is pissed off? Like, could she potentially ruin
course.
like a perfectly cooked meal? The chef's in a great mood, and just her interacting with it. By the time it comes to your table, it changes its flavor.
Yeah,
That's
and
why
then
you're
not only
supposed to
that,
bless
It's
your
all a
food.
circle.
and
It's
not
all
only that, it
circle
changes
too.
the energy of the food.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you
It
could do
changes what
Reiki on
it's
your
feeding.
food. You could
Yeah,
literally
and-
do it over your food.
Well-
But that's what a blessing is for. That's why
Should I
you're
bring like a
supposed to bless
rice
your food.
machine with me if like you go out to eat? Like you just run it over the steak for a little while. You kind of like feed
Yeah,
it into like
you bless your
butter.
food.
So what
Just
about like the
give
people serving
appreciation
the
and
kings?
thanks.
Like
That's it.
You know?
what
I'm gonna
about
totally do that.
what about like people serving the king or the queen or whatever? Like, do they love the king or queen, or are they secretly saying, "I fucking hope you choke on this"? Like,
Yeah, but then they have to just
who
bless
are
the
they
food.
hiring? Like, if they know this secret, like, who are they hiring to be the person for them to serve that dish?
Well,
I
maybe
think
they
it
like
goes that deep.
the king's tester, so they're
That's
not
what
gonna
I
put
was about to
negativity on
say.
it. They're probably like, that's my brother. I ain't gonna make him
I
choke on
hope
that.
this is the best thing I ever ate in my whole life. They might be the most powerful one at blessing the food. So even if it is poisoned, they're
Yeah.
like, "Up, it's blessed by the time I eat it." But there's the
Yeah.
water studies,
Mm.
the rife studies. There's the studies of just eating on different metals. Like we used to actually eat on silverware, and now like we put plastic in our mouths or take our
Last night
food.
I ate with my hand.
I think more
Mm.
people
I do that a
should.
lot.
I did. I
Yeah.
cooked like, like those the seafood broil with like rice and seafood and corn
Oh,
and like
yummy.
all that stuff, and we had it like on the table. I had all my my in-laws and
Yeah.
everybody over,
It's
and
a
we're like,
thing.
we told them we're like, you're not allowed to use utensils, and they're like, no. And my husband and I are like eating with our hands because we're like, it tastes so much better like this.
It does. I was just
I'm a
talking to that
bodybuilder.
my
When I'm
brother
hungry, I
today.
just eat with my hands because it's too much work.
Here in
More
Florida,
natural.
that's normal. Like we eat everything with our hands.
Yeah.
Cereal, peanut butter, everything.
Well, I don't
Yeah,
know about
it was cereal. I don't know, like
Cereal.
Like
Yeah.
Puck
Yeah, you
on
got
The
you
Real
got
World.
a
Did you ever watch
handful,
those
and then you
I
episodes?
got
drink,
milk
put it in
and
They all
cereal,
have
and then
webbed
Oh,
you
that,
eat
fingers,
yeah.
so it's like spoons. You can
it.
scoop it.
We
It
were
does
talking.
seem culturally, yeah, I was gonna say, Layla, it seems culturally some cultures eat more with their hands, and I automatically think of any of my friends from Mediterranean areas where
yeah,
they eat hummus, baba ganoush, tabbouleh, these kind of things, or
yeah.
any of my Mexican friends. All my
Mm-hmm.
friends from different parts of Mexico seem hand to
And
You know
mouth.
India,
why
India, they
though?
play
It
like that
was a
too.
big thing because everyone sat on a table, so it's family style. Everything
And you
was
ate with
served
one
in
meal.
big
Mm-hmm.
servings, and so it's like everybody ate the same out of the same table. It's like a round
Yeah.
table, honestly. We call it a sofra, and everyone would sit together, big group of like maybe 15. It was a big circle table, and everything's on the table, and everyone's just picking on everything using their hands, and there's a magic to it.
You
And I
know
told my
Breaking
brother
bread.
today. Yeah,
what's
he's like,
interesting
man, we
about
don't
that?
have, huh?
Like you're taking from the same cup.
Yeah.
Well, this is just like a weird think that I just kind of like thought of when you were saying that, Layla. But the closer you get to like aristocracy or the portrayal of like these elites, the further removed they are from that. Like I'm thinking about like the scene in the first Batman movie. Like he's like this rich dude, right? And it's this kind of like trope, but they've got this huge table and they're so far away that they can't even see. But if you also just imagine all of like the aristocracy and the elite, they would even have just like a maid would come in, right, and serve them and like move the food. If someone wanted seconds, they would like, there's almost no interaction with the food and the family, and they're all just talking about something completely unrelated. And the further you get away from aristocracy, the more it's like, hey, grab me that, and like someone just like, oh, just rip off a piece, you know what I mean, like here's a whole chicken, rip off a drumstick. That's
Mm-hmm.
almost seen as like po folk sort of, but
Yeah.
why would the aristocracy be abandoning that? And like that, they're probably losing something unintentionally by trying to be all like fancy and have the fork in the exact same spot, and because you lose all that, right?
Dude, I
Mm.
love it. When I went overseas, it was like so odd that everyone was sitting in that circle, and you're just like, I don't know how to explain it. There's just something so loving about it. It's just so connected, and everyone's just in this space, enjoying their food, having conversation. It was like a bonding ritual in a sense. And you're in that state of hypnosis because you're feeling good and you're filling up your stomach. It's just a pleasurable experience, honestly. I love it. And we kind of adapted it here too. Like, we all eat together in like circle style.
In that way of like communion, if we're all sharing the same thing and the people that cook it like are all loving us and they can't wait to bring their best food to this gathering, and then it's all on a table together and it's full of love, and now we're all sharing the same energy, all of us are now vibrating at the same level. And so usually like the energy that's shared and like the doors that are open and hugs and that loving vibe, and I really think that's what in America, and probably during our generation being latchkey kids and TV dinners and microwaves and these kind of things, that was like the first. I mean, the moms left the house and then we were the kids that got raised by the moms that had to work.
Yeah. And the thing is, we don't even sit on chairs. We sit on the floor and do it. And
Grounded.
everyone just grounded on the floor in their circle. It's like almost creating an astrologic or astrology circle or whatever.
Astrologic.
Yeah.
Astrologic.
Well,
There's
you would have
something-
been real wood. Go on, Thomas.
I was there's something. If you guys ever had like a traditional Ethiopian meal where they just take like a big, I forgot what the hell they call it, but they're just like this big, like almost like a bread, I guess, and they just dump like little pieces of food all across it. And what's interesting is that you like it evaporates the whole concept of like, this is my plate and the food that's here on my plate is mine. It's like if you wanted a little bit of the green thing, whatever the hell the green stuff is, right? Like you reach over and you grab it from in front of whoever it's at. And in almost every other type of
Just
eating
sharing.
situation, that's like the ultimate taboo. Like you would never reach and grab some food that's like right in front of someone, right? But that's the only way to. And I think it's interesting because it probably changes more than just dinner time. Like that's an entire culture.
It's a program. It's like, you know, nothing is yours really. You share with each other. That's why, you know, in some cultures, like for example, you know, I lived in Dubai in the UAE for a while, well, for 11 years. And, you know, a lot of the workers that work there, like, for example, the Filipinos or the Indians or the Nepalis and stuff like that, they send their full salary home to their family. You know, and I think that can come from like, I'm going to take what's yours and I'm going to share it with you. And this is all ours together because we all sit and we all eat at the same table and what's mine is yours and stuff like that. There's like no selfishness to it.
I feel like in a big way, just in my Americanness, I feel like that about Layla.
What do you mean?
Like, I think that you and your family are very communal financially in a way that I think American families lack a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And I think it's like nice.
Oh,
Like
thank
it's a
you.
nice thing. Like, and you like you really show up a lot for your family. I think you have a lot on your shoulders in a way that a lot of people couldn't understand.
No, they
And
don't.
yeah, like really like providing for a household. And
It's
I think
besa.
that's like, yeah, but
It's
it's
like-
just like what you do in your culture.
Yeah, it's like I
It's
can't
not
throw my
even
blood
question-
away. Like I can't just turn my back on my makers. Like what? That's like, how dare I eat? Like even the thought of putting my parents in a home? Hell fucking no. My makers? No way. No way. It's like that's like not happening. No way. And if I ever get married, like no, your parents are your parents. We're gonna take care of them. Like, are you fucking crazy? Like, no.
That's funny. That's funny that you say that because my grandma, like we took care of my grandma, like my mom took care of her mother-in-law, like her whole life through all Alzheimer's and all of that stuff to the point where it got like she couldn't do it anymore. She had to be like, you know, in the hospital, kind of like that.
So that
But
point,
but my mom tells me all the time, she's like, I don't want you taking care of me. I don't want you taking care of me because she like knows how it feels. Like she knows the stress and the responsibility of it all.
That
She's
is
like,
my
please
mom.
don't put me in a home. Let me just play my bridge or my cards all day. Let me just have my own life over there. And I'm just like, no, Mom, you'll come and live with me. And she's like, I don't want that for you.
yeah. I guess
That
my
is
mom
exactly
didn't
my
experience
experiences,
that.
right?
Because my
Yeah.
parents didn't
Experiences.
experience that at all. So
Yeah,
I
so
guess
different
that's why.
experiences. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
That is-
That's what
Yeah.
life is about, right?
Real quick, if you are watching this, make sure you hit the like and subscribe and maybe tell a friend. And you might be watching it on 2 separate YouTube channels right now.
Yeah, why is
And
that?
because we got in trouble on Project Cheney and I don't like to be told what to do. And so just in case, I think everybody should like and subscribe to the Secret Society of Good Guys channel just in case the overlords say because I won't ever leave the battlefield. Like I'll just keep putting up more channels and more
Recreate it.
channels and more channels.
Yeah.
So the backup channel for this right now is Secret Society of Good Guys because it deserves its own channel. So make sure you go over there and like and subscribe. So if you missed us last week, we were there last week live. We just didn't know we were going to lose the channel, so we couldn't tell you guys about it ahead of time.
Yeah,
So,
sorry guys.
all of that.
But we're back.
A little bit of business and also a little bit of business. If you are in the Florida area on 3/30, then Sam Tripoli and Thomas will be doing a Chaos Twin signing at 5:30 at the Joke Joint, and then at 8 o'clock, Sam's doing a comedy show, but there'll be a podcast and merch signing and a whole bunch of people hanging out. So it should be fun. So you can go to samtripoli.com and get your tickets.
Nice.
And that is all of that.
I wish I could go, man.
Well, I can tack onto that too. This Sunday, I think Juan and I are going to be getting up with Narco Longo, Oral, Florida, to do some
Witchy.
Bach saga thing at the Bach Tower.
Oh, this
in
is
Lake
so
Wales.
perfect.
So that he threw it on me at the last second. I had to cancel some stuff, but yeah, I guess I'll be showing up to that thing too.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
I would
fun.
totally go Bach Saga with you, but I have to get in a couple of work days before I go and play next
I
week.
read the Bach saga like the Bible. Like it's not all 100% literal. Like if we're gonna talk about it,
I kind of love in a weird way how you have become oddly studied in the Bach Saga and Mormonism, and every
know.
once in a while you're like, huh.
Hilarious.
You're like, Mormonism actually has some legs. You're like, the Bach Saga.
I'm like, I was like questioning that too. I was like, wow, he really is into Mormonism. I was like, I
Yeah,
like
do
that,
like
'cause,
the
you know,
last-
that's
skeptic, and
one
I think,
religion
like,
I haven't dabbled in.
I see the South Park episode of Mormonism, and I thought I knew all there was to know because they just nail everything. And I start looking into it to like make kind of make fun of it and disprove it. And it's like, damn, some of this stuff is kind of on them. I'm not saying
Kinda
about
pretty
like
cool.
seeing angels and all the messages, but some of it is just like way more valid than the jokes in the South Park episodes usually give it credit for.
Yeah, well, South Park's just programming you to maybe go look into that.
And something else to circle back to that you brought up earlier was you were talking about dream palaces. And I think that the guy who built the Taj Mahal, he built a mind palace and he like did all of these very detailed things, and then he built the Taj Mahal in real life. Like this is a mind palace in real life, and so there's something with it, with like not only certain people from our zeitgeist going there and putting up pictures, because HRC put up a picture of her and her ugly ass daughter at the Taj Mahal, but I was too busy at work waiting on
Hillary?
customers to go in on her. But it's also a thing like Ivana Trump will always post pictures at the Taj Mahal, like Diana Taj Mahal. They always put a girl on the bench at Taj Mahal. But I think
Always.
Taj Mahal itself, like the Coral Castle, was a love letter. I think it has something to do with like some love story, but
When
it's
these are like great examples too, like Coral Castle, Taj Mahal, like pretty much any place that people go to for like these big majestic visits, that they are 100% memory palaces, but then you can use those and absorb those into like your grand memory palace map. And that's why a lot of the ancients were putting so much like emphasis on traveling around and going and
Oh,
seeing
yeah.
everything,
Spread your
because
energy.
every time you go to a new place and see a new thing you've never seen, you can like use that as an anchor for a whole bunch of new information. It's almost like
Portal.
upgrading your mind constantly.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love that.
Mm.
or does everybody visiting your mind palace, if you can, in this OA way, if we're going to get quantum for a second, if you were to eat something living inside your dream in the OA, like a frog or a fish or a bird or what have you, then you have this way of jumping bodies quantumly, almost in this quantum leap type way. You can walk in, and because time and space are no longer real to you. If you did that in your dream, in this Russian dream hackers type way, you build this mind palace and then you put it in real life and it was already there in your dream, could you
Could you make it happen?
absorb future? Like, can you create this Ouroboros of energy of yourself that now you always have a spot in space and time to always go back to? Also, so quantumly, the power of it for everybody else to go there as
yeah.
well
I
and create
created-
their mind palace. It's like
I created I create an office in the quantum, like where I take people to heal. So I have like a quantum healing hospital that I've created with like med beds, and it's all like over the ocean, so half in the ocean, half in the forest, and it's all glass, and it's completely like up in the sky, and you can see everything. And I have people lay down on there. I mean, you've been there a few times, Cheney. So like I brought you over there. So it's just, yeah, I've created that, and that's where I go sometimes.
That's in the dream space. I created a school over several nights. I would go back in the dream and I'd add more to the school. So it was really freaking cool.
Yeah.
And then I did in a lucid dream, I created a meeting place for several friends who were also dreamers, that we agreed to a place, and It was Mount Shasta, actually. So, but then we each chose items that we would each one of us would put there. So we were gonna create like meme magic where we superimpose like the items in the picture, and only 3 of us chose an item. So I was the first one to lucid dream because none of them actually were lucid dreamers. I get to Mount Shasta, I find the meeting place, and I create it. Like I created everything that they wanted there. It was there. Like actually, I could see whose intentions were the strongest because one of them wanted a phone booth, and the phone booth wasn't there, but it was just the phone was there. But I wanted to bring the element of water, so I was like, well, I'll put like a fountain. Well, the fountain wasn't there, but there was all these circles of rocks that were like in perfect circles, white and blue and white and blue. And I realized that the circles of rocks were actually the fountain. I was just looking at it from a different angle. But then I lit a fire, like a zebra grass, and I created a fire that wouldn't stop burning, so that way if they ever showed up, they could find it and they wouldn't be scared. So I created a meeting space in the dream realm for my friends.
Yeah, I think, and if you get Zeni on here one day, she's done something on her TikTok channel where she kind of like, the whole guess the number thing, or like guess what that's happening, and and people are guessing the number. Yeah, or I do it sometimes. Yeah, I do it sometimes on mine where I create a Zen garden and I leave something in the middle of it, and you can go through the Zen garden and find what I created there, and people actually guess it right. So many people talked about a tree, and people actually guessed the type of tree that it was, and it was a tree. It was a cherry blossom tree that was in the middle of it. So you can definitely do something like that and ask people to enter into your quantum reality world that you created and see what's there. I love like dream messages. Like I remember with a collective, I was like, okay, guys, we're going to leave something in a dream for each other, and you have to go in the dream and find it. And like, that's really cool too. And, it's like, I left you a flower, and it's like, yeah, I really did leave you a flower. So, I mean, yeah, definitely programming and can be done on many different levels.
About, right, Abby? Like meeting in the dream realm.
Meeting in the dream.
Yeah. Because the dream hackers do it all the time. They have a space that they call like it's like, I don't know what they call it. It's just like a little community garden, and it's their meeting space, and it doesn't matter what time you go to sleep. You just go there, and then you'll get the information you need.
That's awesome.
From the others. Yeah.
There's got to be a version of like catching your fart and throwing it, but in like the dream realm. Like you go and like.
Why wouldn't there be?
I'm gonna go now because it's almost 8 o'clock in the morning for me.
You're so awesome for hanging out with us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you all for having me. It was amazing.
Thank
you so much. You can find me on Instagram, Earthangel Reiki 333 or earth.angel.reiki 333. I'm on TikTok as well under the same thing. I want to start my YouTube thing very soon, my live. I'll do that with an ancestral constellation. So it's just a group chat where people can hop on and we can all dive into our ancestry and we kind of see where it goes. It's really cool, really high vibing. I mean, all the feelings vibing kind of thing. You feel for everyone. You heal everyone. It's a nice collective zone. But thank you all so much for being here. I'm
so
sure
sorry.
you're going to be.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Would you fuck your clone?
Would I fuck my own clone?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just fucking me. So I love myself.
Thank you.
I love you. I fucking love you.
Agreed.
I mean, I love me. That's why I chose this avatar.
You know it feels good.
I love it. Thank you for hanging out, Bing, because I love you and I hope you'll come back and hang out with us again.
Thank you, everyone. Level up, bless up, bye.
Have a great day.
Dig up yourself.
Right.
All right.
And then there were 5.
And now dark. No.
Now it gets dirty.
Binks knows. Jamaicans always know.
Yeah.
I know we should have asked her about daggering next time.
Oh, right.
Oh yeah.
We should add some sort of a daggering related question to the new official like charter.
Yeah,
Charter, right.
I need to have one ready on pool so I can be like, oh, what do you feel about daggering? We can talk about it a little, and then would you do this? And then We'll have a couple daggering videos on the go.
I'm almost imagining like a Street Fighter 2 or like a Mortal Kombat situation where like every character has like a
Finish
special
her.
move. So like everyone's got to have a daggering move, right? Like it would be like a very unique version of it.
Like
Finish
WWE.
him.
Right.
Almost like the Plasma Apocalypse game that you're working
Fatality.
on, you need a daggering part. Like, oh, Elaine died of dysentery, but instead she has a dagger off and then like loses 2 points. She's a little dirtier, but she gains the ability to do something else.
I'm almost imagining like a Box Saga daggering combination that might be floating out there. It's kind of just waiting for the taking.
You need a Jamaican character. And then
I
she
agree.
would
I agree.
and then she would dagger. That would be like her superpower.
Oh my god. That would be your name, just Dagger.
Yeah, dagger. That's it. And then there'd be a whole different guy that was a Box
Oh my
Saga. Where
The
the
Box Saga guy that pees on somebody.
It would suck when the wagon was broke, but the Box Saga guy who could suck his own dick and be the wheel. But it would make him dirty by the time you got to where you were going next. He would
I'm
be
so glad I
really
listened to that
dirty
thing.
before you
But
think.
this is gold right now.
I'm so glad I listened to
curious.
that thing and I'm up to speed on that.
I'm
That's
curious
great.
if men actually
I'm
try and suck their own
Layla,
dicks.
if you heard the Box Saga, you would be the one that would you would become Nimrod to the Box Saga of Tower of Babel because the things that like I was just trying to be a smartass and the Box Saga outsmartassed me with the real thing that they think. It's a pyramid scheme of cum. Where this is how it works, Layla. And I'm just gonna give you the short version. All the people in the village all have to like wait. I have to have Thomas because I feel like
I don't want to become the expert.
Come on.
this.
Come on.
no, the quick version.
Yeah, this is. I mean, this will be the more simplified. So any like Bacchists or Bactologists might be upset, but the poorest people that have no class. Society is divided into 5 classes. The very lowest of those classes, they go around and they just basically give their cum up to like the higher classes. And this is what the military is structured around. The military goes around with their shields and they collect all the poor people's cum and then they give it to the next up class. And then the process kind of repeats. But once the poor people, you go into like the next class, they start making contact, as I understand. Like they don't do it into a shield. They kind of like, like the dudes are just sucking each other off. And the women do this too. This isn't just guys. The women at the exact same time, they take a thimble. And the whole origin of the thimble is to basically insert it into yourself, collect some of your essence, and then you would feed that to the next class. And it goes all the way up to the king. And by the time it gets to the king, collectively, like the generals, the 4-star generals that are showing up with these yellow lapels on their shoulders, which I won't get into, but the yellow is basically semen too. But once they actually go up to the king, then the king receives like their semen, and this is supposed to be the collective like procreative force of like 20,000 people, so that when it gets to the king and then he ingests it, then he basically waits with his queen. The queen does the exact same thing. She's ingested 11,000 women, so then they have a honeymoon, and the whole purpose of the honeymoon is for a full month. She just constantly ingests him because she needs to be like able to receive the knowledge of 11,000 guys. So then finally on the last night of this 30-day honeymoon, they get together, they have like the ultimate moon child, and that child is supposed to be the collective of the entire community, like the village, the everything. Like that kid represents it all. And the weird part to me is that nobody else bangs. It's just the king and the queen, and no poor people ever get drunk and bang in like a dark room ever. Like throughout the box.
Not allowed to happen, or you're gonna take some
That's the
essence
part
out of the
everyone
collective.
focuses on. Like, wait, they drank how much cum? And I'm just like, wait, poor people aren't banging.
When was this?
It lasted for 50 million years, and this was 100 million years ago.
Or this is not a real thing then?
That's your opinion, ma'am.
There is people that think it's the entire real thing. This is what everything is based upon. This is all of it. And part of the hierarchy of the Bach is if you could suck your own dick.
Wow.
Bok bok, motherfucker.
Well, and what's interesting is that only like less than
What the
1%
shit,
of
baby?
people could actually make contact, let alone do the full act. So it would kind of indicate some sort of like interesting rare gene or like genetic ability that really nobody else has.
Whoa, that's some homunculus shit.
Adam was
That-
missing a rib, y'all.
I don't know about that, but if they say that, I got
Well,
my
I bet he
own-
could suck his own dick if he
I
could
got my
stand
own
if he
take
was.
on it.
Reference?
Yeah, for sure. But you know what? It's everybody says the Marilyn Manson thing, but the Tool CD, the Anima, was hologram, and when you like would move it back and forth, it was him with his legs wrapped behind his head, and he was sucking his own dick.
Box Saga. That's proof.
There you go. Evidence.
Chula's boxist.
Tool.
It wasn't ever horns,
Proctologist.
like the Moorish. It wasn't horns. It was
Confirmed.
legs. It was just 2 legs of them sucking their own dick. So you look like from far away that you were just a tribe of people sucking their own dick.
And it's women too. Just to be clear, every single thing that everyone always focuses on the guys, the exact same thing is happening with the women.
I
And they're
know it would
using
be
symbols.
so hard to be a woman and eat your own pussy. Like we don't even get any leverage. Like even if you're a dude and you're not that well endowed, you still get a couple of inches. Like, can you imagine like for a girl to eat your own pussy, you got to get so far down, like
Yeah.
because you're not just
proportionate
hitting the
shit.
front. You want to hit everything, and so if
This
you
is
want to
why
hit
they start.
everything,
You're supposed to start when you're 7 because
is that?
you're flexible and you're just learning, and you're supposed to start from 7 and you do this until you're 27. So it's 20 years, and it's literally like your friends and family come and they actually like
Come
push
literally.
your body into the position so that over time, over 20 years, like pretty much everyone could technically either that or you just get weeded out, I guess, because
that's why
no
the
one-
double jointed people that fit inside a box at the circus or whatever, they fit inside a
Right.
box. It was not even called a box. It was probably called a Bach. And they were like, oh my gosh, we got to fit inside the Bach. And the double jointed people were the people that they were like, oh my gosh, that is such a like, look at that person can fold themselves all the way backward and upside down and inside this thing.
Hmm.
What a hierarchy to be double
maybe
jointed.
they've inverted the whole concept
Oh.
of like you're not supposed to think outside the box. You're supposed to think inside the box.
Inside the box.
Oh my gosh, you're supposed to think inside the box.
You
And I
got
think
to
it's funny
say
that it
inside
just
the
means
box.
goat.
Coming now.
Like it's such a German thing for goat. It's such a like Bach, the Bach saga. The
So how
goat
much
saga.
of these do you think are just like inserted psyops?
I really think this is what I think in my, if we were in a realm and everything about me being a homo was like, oh, let's burn her at the stake. But if I could create my own religion and I could convince all the hot girls, like, oh no, this is what you want to do. That's what I think. It's like there's a whole bunch of homosexual men that they end up in high power positions and then they have to make everyone below them gay somehow.
Hmm.
That's what all these religions just seem like, some homoerotic like dance. Like, but it doesn't really ever seem like women. It's just like that's always the afterthought where like Bach Saga is like, oh yeah, this is for women too. But really the dude himself who created this whole thing is like, how can I get these dudes to suck my dick? And for some reason, like that, it just seems what
Bears.
it's about. Like, how can I create a whole entire religion based around, like, if I'm a dirty pedo, how can I, or if I want to eat kids, how can I make a whole religion around them giving me their children? Like, that's what I just feel like. Whatever the sick perversity is, somebody created a religion around it. So some of them weren't that sick. Some guy sat one day, like I imagine every guy, and they were like, gosh, this hand's fine, but I wish I could suck my own dick. And the same way they daydream about dinosaurs, and they're like, what if that lizard was really big? They're like, oh, what if I could suck my own dick? I bet a lot of guys wish they could suck their dick.
Yeah.
We could probably start a whole religion around guys that wish they could suck their dick.
And we
Well,
can
apparently you got to
literally,
start at 7.
and women can literally just fuck themselves because we have the objects to do that. So it's just like, it's harder for the men. Like,
No, because if they weren't circumcised, they could just jerk off wherever. It'd be so
oh yeah,
easy for
it's
them.
pretty much, yeah, I guess.
I think it should be normalized that guys like go on a hike in the woods and jerk off. Like, I think it should just be a normal thing.
I mean, that's ultimately
It
the
happens.
men's rights movement. Like, they just don't say that part out loud, but that's what it culminates. I want to be able to pee anywhere I want and anything else.
It does seem like that. Every
Yeah.
time guys would come over to my house and we'd hang outside, smoke, barbecue, whatever, all my guy friends, my brother, they always have to go somewhere in my yard and piss.
They never go inside
I
and use the
love
bathroom.
pissing
I
outside.
always tell them, I'm like,
Ever.
you could just
I
go
love pissing
in.
outside.
You're like, nah, we're good.
It's
They're like,
strategic
I'll use
though.
the bathroom.
I'm
You can
fine.
use it
We're just trying to
strategically.
protect you from the animals in the surrounding
Yeah,
area.
exactly. That's what you do. You do have a line around the area to piss to
Keeps
keep the
deer from eating
coyotes
in your
away.
garden.
Because when the javelinas and the bobcats are coming around, they know, okay, don't fuck with the owl tree.
I've
Mine.
actually done this just for extra good karma to make sure owls and like
Whoa.
other rodents don't get into cops' gas tanks. So we sometimes
Yeah.
will make sure that yeah.
Was
What
I
just happened?
glitching? Was I glitching or
No, I don't know. I don't
were
think
we
so.
all glitching? Because something just happened. I don't know.
I don't think so.
Everything just sounded robotic. I was like, oh shit, what happened? Okay, never mind. Don't listen to me. Sorry.
Have you guys ever experienced any kind of form of divination in your life? Like where somebody
Absolutely.
else did it, where you saw like, oh, this definitely is a miracle or something out of this world,
Mm.
or where you saw somebody put their intention into work and it did something?
I do. And it involves blood magic and a cigarette. And it was fucking mind blowing. So she pricked her. This lady pricked her finger. I'm not saying.
Do you
who it
remember
was.
what finger she pricked? Because this will get into another kind of
The ring
divination.
finger? The ring finger.
Okay.
Okay. So she pricked her ring finger and she let the
On her
blood
right
drop.
hand?
I don't remember. I don't
Okay.
remember, to be
Okay.
honest.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't want to lie about,
Okay. No worries.
So she pricks her finger and she takes a cigarette, okay, and takes a pen and starts writing the person's name with blood on the cigarette, okay, in capital letters. And she said in the language, in my language, Chishkalet Kyotigaria Shala, whatever, call it Purmu. So it pretty much means how I light this cigarette, I hope this person lights up for me. So it makes the person, whether in they're up or if they're asleep, they'll probably dream about you. They'll think about you in that instance, and they'll like want to, make some sort of contact with you. So she lit up the cigarette. She said some kind of mantra beforehand. I don't even remember that. So the intention she set for him to call her, that's what she told us. I'm going to make sure he calls me, and I want you to guys see how this works. We're like, okay. And I'm in like 16 years old. I'm like, yeah, right. This is bullshit, So she writes the name, she lights it up, she says her thing and smokes each letter. The whole letter has to burn, and she has to hold it in for, and she recites that mantra again and lets it out. Each letter, and let the whole cigarette burn, and kept the ashes in the napkin and put it under her pillow. I swear, 3 minutes later, her husband calls her from Norway, and this was Skopje, Macedonia. Calls her from somewhere in Norway. And hey, baby, I was just dreaming about you. Da 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 da. We didn't have cell phones like that. It was all like Nokia shit, So he just calls her and tells her I miss her and I love you. And I'm just there like, holy motherfucking shit. Like, what did I just witness? She didn't move. She didn't touch her phone, nothing. And that gave me chills. The whole blood magic of it, and the intention, and the breathing, inhaling the letter, the inhaling part of it. Oh, I sound good like this. Whoops. But the inhaling magic, like that's a whole divinity in itself. Like in our culture, like, yeah, you could speak things, but breathing things or words in is also a type of magic. Like when we say like things to like stay away, like to bistic far, sometimes we say like we take it in. So it's like a magic that you harness for yourself. It's interesting. The whole we talked about this, I think, right, Janie, once?
Yeah.
Yeah, once or
Life
twice.
and
Yeah.
breath,
Yeah.
in and out, and
Mm.
even how yoga uses it.
Mm-hmm.
What about you guys? Have you ever seen prayers work or seen a tarot come dead on, dead ass?
Never. Although
All the
I've
time.
partaken in bibliomancy before, which is basically when you just go to like open up a book and like point at a certain word and use that as some kind of meaning. There's been more than enough times in my life that I've just done that at random for it to just be all coincidence, where I can open it up to the exact word that I'm thinking. Like basically, it's like I've got an etymology dictionary, like a big thick one, and a few times I don't do it anymore because I don't want to like hurt my track record, right?
Right.
But I would just be like, I'm gonna open this book up to this exact word, and straight enough, I would just do it. And I mean, part of it is like I know if the word starts with S, it's not gonna be in the first 10 pages. You know what I mean? So there's some of that going on, but I feel like there might be something more than just complete chance to that.
Absolutely.
You need to send
Divining
through the
is
Bible verse, but it's the same thing as bibliomancy. It's like it's finding what you need when you open it up.
like simple material divining. I think these I found doing the divining, like just with my hands out in the desert, because
What
you
is
can
that?
feel the
Rock?
subtle energies.
Well, that's kind of like using energy testing, right? And I feel like
Right.
that's probably because I've had tarot card readings. I appreciate them. I've had my palms read, and there's always something for me in them, but I don't ever feel like they 100% resonate. And I think that's a part of me that wants to say that no, I'm the captain of my ship. Nobody's going to tell me how my future
Yeah.
is going to be. I'm going to make that happen myself. So I can either accept it or reject it. And I feel like that's why it doesn't always resonate. But like as far as like a pendulum, like it is energy testing or doing energy testing. I do the 2 ring
Right.
method where you
And
yes
it's
is
always
strong
you.
and then no is broke.
Yeah.
But like I do that or the sway method, and I do that when I do Reiki patients too, and I'm testing limiting beliefs. I'll do energy testing, and honestly, like that kind of goes back to, if you want to take it back to the Bible, there's only one approved method of divination, and it was Urim and Thummim, which are 2 stones, a white stone and a black stone, and one of them meant yes and the other one meant no. And so you would just ask your question, and then whatever stone you picked up, it had to be a yes or no question. But really it's the same as energy testing. So you don't need Urim and Thummim to do it. You don't need a white and black stone. You just have to ask your higher self yes or
Right.
no. And like a pendulum will sway, like for me in a circle is always yes and a back and forth is no. And so and it's different for everyone. You have to test your own yes and no, even with the sway test.
Yeah.
Like usually yes is moving forward and no is moving backward, but some people they're opposite. So but I felt to me I feel like that's probably the highest form of divination, is just questioning yourself. But
That's in
Yeah.
Masonry and Mormonism too. The Urim and Thummim.
yeah.
In Masonry, I've seen a depiction of it where there's like 2 pieces of glass in what looks like little magnifying glasses almost, but on one it has like a triangle, like upside down triangle, and the other one it's got a square. And then based on how you orient them on top of each other, it can refract light in different ways, and they could use it, I guess, to like read. I don't know if it was like secret messages or divination, but the Mormons basically claim the same thing. And I think there's some depictions in like the Talmud and other like Jewish traditions where it's the whole plate. It's the Darth Vader plate. And in fact, Darth Vader in the original versions was completely based on this Urim and Thummim sort of concept.
Oh wow.
Well, we
Well, see,
did.
and I wonder if that's supposed to be like the 2 poles, like on the tarot cards, like the
I think
Jachin
it's
and
like a
Boaz.
filter. I really think it's like in a practical sense, the Urim and Thummim represents some sort of like a special color filter where you could filter out a certain frequency of light in order to see something that was hidden or being almost like washed out by like other. I don't know. I mean, I'm just speculating because it's all lost to like legend at this point.
seeing the
Blue
hidden.
blocker.
What we did, what they taught me back home was to, I guess, have your intention come true. So what they showed me was they took a bowl and they filled it with water, and they took matchsticks, and we all had to light them up and drop them at the same time. And the matchstick that would settle to the bottom first, that intention would be the one to happen. So that was like a neat little, thing that we did as girls. I don't know if it's divination, but like water,
Yeah, it's the same
matter,
as
fire.
MASH. Don't you feel like we always played these little games as girls where they were all those paper games like MASH or like I don't know. There was other games like it. I can't remember. Where
That
it
one
was
used a
like,
spiral, didn't it? The
Yeah.
mash, and you would count how many lines.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
MASH,
something
fire.
really big when you look into like Yellow Jackets, which is a show all about the occult now on Showtime, or you can look at pretty much any show that's about witches. They're always going to play with the spiral, and then they'll have the directionals done. I've even Layla, didn't you have a video of somebody with a spiral in the woods where they
Yeah.
put the mirrors
Yeah.
on certain
Oh
sides?
yeah.
Yeah, and one black mirror.
And they're like, and you can't see the black mirror in the other mirrors or something. It does this
Yeah.
weird trick to the eye.
Yeah.
Is that a portal thing?
I
Layla?
think
Are
I'm
they-
not sure. I don't know what it was. I was asking people like, what is this? What's
Like the
going
stuff
on?
you
It
will
would
come
be
across in
because
the woods.
It's
because
portal
they used to
magic.
say I've heard because even two mirrors facing each other is considered a demon
Mhm.
portal. So like there's like this mall in Chicago where it's just a walls full of mirrors, and you walk through it and you could just see yourself infinite times. It's insane. But that allegedly is a demon portal. So I think
Mhm.
that that's just a part of a demon portal. I don't think it's the whole recipe. So the other part would be the other two directions.
Yeah.
If every single thing at a casino is something that used to be a form of like Mancy of some sort, and now we just treat it all like it's gambling, and maybe everything kind of is gambling in that way. Do you think things at the carnival or the fair could be considered those same tools of a wheel of fortune? So people might have to all get in the Ferris wheel, and maybe not everybody dies on the Ferris wheel, but maybe one of the seats die. And if we were the king or the queen, or if we're playing, games of energy, does it matter what one would accidentally die, or what I would make, who I'd make die? Or
It
would
was like
we be
Squid Games.
Yeah, almost, but it's like, is every game at the carnival almost representing something at the casino? And it's also drawing those like, like same kind of things. So you have that amusement where it's almost like, instead of being a muse and like inspiring authentically of whatever your magic would be, we're like paying for our amusement, which then it's implanting us with the inspiration that's not supposed to be there.
Well, because a lot of those original fairs and local ones that would go off was not really based on you going and paying any money and like winning stuff. Like it was just kind of like a local event. But yeah, you wanted to attract like almost like the loosh energy, right? It was the bread and circus. So you wanted people to spend their time playing these games and not protesting. Probably that was probably their version of like, oh my God, put this thing on so they don't complain about the other thing. But I think over time it's evolved with like current culture. We've got capitalism and currency now, that instead of just a loosh, now it's really like, we're just going to take your money. We're going to have you throw this baseball at this milk bottle that's glued down to the table that you'll never win. You know what I mean? And originally that was to just capture your attention and your amusement. But now it's just like, open up that wallet, give me another $5 and you can try it again.
Is that
But
almost the
wasn't
same as crypto? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I'd say yeah.
like if you just keep throwing your money at this, like one day you'll be, or the same as you porn, or getting a check on X, because one day, or I'm gonna, make all my currency is gonna come from this thing. Like I'm gonna be the one to figure out the fair trick. But what about like the bearded
carnival though?
Yeah,
Going
that's what
back
I was
into
gonna
that though,
say.
because it's the meat fest, right? So that's
Well,
so fucking weird.
like everything that we live in now, which would be our grotesque, all the things we would pay money for the sideshow of the carnival.
Normal.
The bearded lady, or seeing a super grotesque obese person, or like all of this shit that we live in everyday society is the stuff that we used to pay money for in a sideshow and be like this freak and look down upon it. And now we're like being forced to normalize and accept their sideshow currency, which I would also say, like, me and Thomas, like I always say, Hugh Hefner or Howard Hughes is like the untapped conspiracy that everyone needs to look into. Another one, the Barnum and Bailey circus. This is such an untapped conspiracy that everyone should start delving into, because it's the original human trafficking. It's the original bread and circus. It hides it in America. It all comes up during the time of the World's Fairs and all during the orphan trains. It all is like there, and it stays in our zeitgeist for such a long time.
We should do Ringling and kind of like break into some of this, because they got a great Barnum Bailey and Pete the PT Barnum story. They've got a whole entire display about all that. You probably get kicked out for like talking shit about it, right?
So y'all gonna judge me that I want to join a circus or like run away with the carnies? Because I really think that would be fun.
Nah,
I
no
guess you guys
judgment
doing
here.
that.
No judgment here.
I think
That
a
would be
lot of
fun.
those fairs and carnivals and things of that nature, those people split up into their own little, like the elephant trainers went south and the midgets went
Like
here.
gypsies.
Yeah, but they all went to Florida, and they made, like, the fortune tellers went and they created a town, and so Florida has this really spread out history of all the old school carnival, and like it's pretty insane.
You know where they all get
Gibsonton
buried
is a
though?
big one.
In Oklahoma, in Hugo, Oklahoma. It's like the circus cemetery for the United States, like because circuses don't generally have a home, so they all get buried in Hugo,
Oh
Oklahoma.
wow. Holy
And I think
shit.
the clown college is here too. Like one of the big clown colleges for Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey. I think it might be
That's
in
so
Florida.
specific. What the fuck?
Is it haunted? Are there like hauntings of like clowns and
clowns?
I don't know. I was supposed to meet Lehman there. Actually, we were gonna go to Hugo and do the whole elephant cemetery thing, or not elephant cemetery. There are dead elephants there too. Like there are elephants buried there as well.
Are there?
Yeah.
The ringmaster. Like what the fuck? This is like is it like a
The
joke?
Showman's Cemetery
of
is what they call it.
humanity? Like the circus?
Well, to be the ringmaster, think about what that means.
Yeah.
Master.
Then the
one
clowns.
ring to rule them all.
Yeah, well, you're in the middle of
Machine
the rings. Yeah, it is pretty wild. I don't know. Yeah, the circus. It needs to be looked into. Tightrope, making everybody ooh and ah, then taking the animals that are like the savage beast, bears, and making them walk on balls. Like such a I haven't been to a circus in forever. At a very, very young age, I never liked it. I never liked when my parents brought us to it. I never wanted to. I remember like one of my brother's birthdays, them taking us, or any local small town. Like it always made me feel sick to be at a circus.
Oh, I loved it, man. I
love
was
it.
like obsessed with clowns for the longest. I was the opposite of whatever Problem Child was, where he like goes into that house and they decorate it with clowns and he freaks out. Like I love, dude. I would put like clown stickers on anything that I knew was like my favorite thing. That would get a clown sticker.
Hmm.
Does that make me a psychopath?
I like clowns. I liked clowns too. I thought they were really. People think that it's a low level of comedy, but really it's not. I mean, you can't just be a clown. You got to go to clown
good clown
college
is great.
if you want to be a good one.
Let me see
Shit.
your degree. You think you're a clown? Let's see your degree. When
That's
did you
what's up.
graduate, sir?
It's like
You almost got what it
wrestling,
takes.
like a WWE wrestling, where you have to go to school to be good at it
Yeah.
because you have to learn how to fall.
Boxing. All of that.
Clown.
You have to learn to be oblivious to your shortcomings, pretty much.
I don't know. I
rabbit
just
hole.
feel like clowns are creepy. It seems
I
like
mean,
it's
now they
mall
are, yeah.
Santa.
I like being scared though, so
I just think they're like mall Santas. It's not because they're creepy from it. It's like who becomes a clown except for a creep show grown man that wants to paint his face and be around children. And so it's like how I feel about a grown man mall Santa. I'm like, it creeps me out to the core. So there's just something about that. I don't care about the fakeness.
Oh god.
I
I've never
just
considered that before, but yeah, now like every mall Santa is on notice. Like that's kind of creepy.
Yeah, you're like leaning into the like, oh, I just grow my beard long because everyone calls me Santa year round. And then I play Santa at the mall, and then I just have kids sit on my lap all day because I just like to be grandpa like that.
well, it just takes me back to that bad Santa with Billy Bob Thornton and that girl going, I didn't shit right all week. That's what I think of when I think of mall Santas.
You know what else is pretty interesting? Baseball and the whole shape of it. I went down this rabbit hole of how it's like shaped like a Mason symbol, how the lines connect and the bases and the empire. It's just like a spell behind that I'm just trying to figure out. I just stumbled upon it and I quickly dove into it, and I'm like, oh my god, this is such a Mason like fucking sport.
And it's like a gentleman's sort of like activity as well. So
Yeah.
that because for the longest time it was kind of like this joke that, you know, even like fat guys in the 90s could be like pro baseball players. Like as long as you could hit the ball hard enough, like you didn't have to run, you didn't have to dodge or do none of that stuff. You could just like look at Babe Ruth, right? You could just like
Yeah.
smack the ball and just like walk your fat ass around the bases and you're good. And I think part of that, it wasn't like it was designed for, you know, fat people, but it was designed for people that wanted to put on like a nice, you know, pinstripe suit and not get it all dirty and, you know, like have a more organized and like gentlemanly way of going about it.
Civilized game.
Yeah, it was. I mean,
Let's
compared
make
to
it
almost every other sport you could think of, like, oh, look at these guys going around and like kicking each other, or look at these guys that are, you know, attacking each other and they're bleeding. And I think it was just like a step away from that. So it kind of fits into the whole Masonic aspect where it's like we're gentlemen, we're gonna wear white gloves, you know, we're gonna wear white suits and like all of this
Yeah.
the dress up that didn't really exist in a lot of other sports. Like if you compared it to football at the time, they didn't really have uniforms. Like they just had like a piece of leather on their head.
Yeah, and like the whole like numbers, strikes, outs, innings, you know,
Yeah,
the whole
3 strikes and
number.
you're out. Yeah.
Yeah, and running and the bases, like a base. Why call it a base, you know?
It's also
Besa.
at 90 degree 90 feet. They do a lot of 999 symbolism on everything. Diamonds is a big huge thing. The guy who discovered it and like put it all in the zeitgeist was a huge Mason.
I was just gonna say, whoever decided 9 innings for fucking
Nine-
baseball, you're insane. Like,
I know.
I
For God's sake,
it's
who
the
got time for that?
worst sport to fucking watch sometimes.
I hate baseball.
I know. 9 innings is way
Fucking
too
hate
long.
baseball. My stepdad was a baseball coach. Burnt me out real quick, like.
I didn't mind softball. I didn't mind
I love
baseball
softball.
either. I played baseball for a few years and I played softball for a little bit. And no offense, ladies, it took a while for the women to catch up. And so I went and played baseball for a few years. And then once fast pitch happened, then I was like, okay,
I can
I
get
see
behind
you.
this.
Yeah.
I'll be the catcher.
I played first base until then. There are things about natural ability that I realized, like I can't compete with a left-handed girl that's 6 foot tall.
That can
Like
stretch
they're,
her legs really far.
yeah,
Yeah.
like oh, she's left-handed. She's made for that base.
Do
Yeah.
you think there's something sexual about baseball and first base, second base, third base, and home? And since we use those references in sexual manners, do you think there's something sexual about the whole sport?
No, I just think it's like touchdown. It's like
Bats and balls, baby.
they move everything over to sex, but I don't think baseball necessarily started out that way.
Hmm.
Nah, I think it was a bunch of kids playing in a city.
Hmm.
There could be
being like,
something to it. I don't know, because if it is a Freemasonic invention, then it could ultimately be based in some sort of Judaism, and which means it's probably based in some kind of ancient sex magic. So I
Yeah.
mean, in that very long way, yeah, Illuminati confirmed.
You know, the glory hole.
I'm just thinking, it's like you're shooting a little white thing out of a dome that you like only the right guy with the right amount of power behind it is able to like penetrate this outer firmament, I guess, out into the where I don't know. I'm spitballing.
home run. Yeah.
And obviously like the first base, second base home run that we're talking about, like that was applied onto it after the fact to like denote this, but
That's
that
what
might
I'm
also be
yeah.
obscuring that it was really based on that to begin with. I don't know.
A ball.
Maybe.
A bat and a ball. If the like you have this bat, you have your pole, you have your
The
gloves. That's
shooting.
your hole. Like if I catch the right ball, it's
Which
like it's not
which
just about a home run. It's like we're passing this ball around and then
What
like
about
transferring
golf?
this energy.
Have you ever heard the golf phrase of "gentlemen only, ladies forbidden"?
Yes.
Because I think that was almost like a pre-baseball. Golf was another one of the original sports that didn't require
Gentlemen's
gentlemen
sport.
to like make contact with each other at any point, and it was also seen as like a very elitist thing. I've even heard a lot of ties to
cricket.
like the Scottish in like inventing it.
Yeah, doesn't it come from cricket?
Well, that's very similar to baseball as well, cricket.
Mhm.
Like we
Yeah.
always have these crossover like with the wood, but if you think of how similar baseball is, it's almost like a way they took golf and they were going to try to expand it out to the lower classes. And so they couldn't give them as much space as they give you 18 holes. So they had to lower this division of 18 to 9. And so then you still get the same woods or the same metals to play with. So you still have this alchemy involved, but it makes it very accessible to poor people now. You still have leathers, that's still very important. You still have to have your leather glove, and you're still counting your holes in the same kind of way of like par is like usually 4.
And you can lie about like how good you are very easily. You know what I mean? You could just
Yeah,
say
your
that it was like
stats.
3 strokes less.
Oh,
Yeah,
what's the handicap? You know, like, oh, they get a
less
handicap.
than
Like,
par.
And strokes.
And then every single thing with golf, all of it below par is albatross, birdie, eagle, like it's all named after birds. So there we get into that again, where it's like
I do like the
Eagles
concept
landing.
of handicap though. I feel like every sport could have, because what all a handicap is just your relative performance. Instead of saying like what's your absolute versus another person or team that might be a completely different skill level, it's more of like how well did you do this time versus last time, and how well did you do versus your rolling average. That would
Is that what
be
it is? Because I'm like, I don't understand why you have a
yeah.
handicap. What does
The
that
handicap
mean?
is
Like,
basically like if you suck really bad,
then I'm
then
gonna
and you
give you
know
3 strokes at the beginning of the game.
exactly.
And so this is kind of what I like about a handicap is you're only setting your handicap to the other comparison. So like it pool's the same way. So if I'm a lot better than you at pool and you're like, well, it's not even worth it for us to play 9-ball Cheney. You're going to beat me every time. I'm going to say, well, Abby, what about if I give you the 7, 8, and 9 out? And that would be like me handicapping myself and allowing you to come up a little bit.
Damn.
Okay.
That kind of hits the ego. Like
I know, but that's how we get to play even because we're both playing against ourselves to become better. But if you're never going to get better if I'm just running racks on you. We have to make this somehow even. Or if we're out at the golf course and I'm like getting, 12 under and you're getting 22 over, you're like, I hate this life.
Yeah.
But if there's
And
like some kind
it
of
only kind of works in golf, right? Like that wouldn't work in baseball or football or basketball or boxing or anything, because you would actually be just like seeing your ass handed to you left and right. But there's
it
something
actually does work. And this goes all the way back to what we were talking about earlier, is that once gambling's involved and now we add pluses and minuses to the front of it, it doesn't matter if it's boxing or fighting or baseball or whatever. Now that the gambling's involved, we can add the handicap, because now Paranoid American, for me to get money, doesn't just have to beat me by 3, he has to beat me by 3.5. Or like, for you to get real money, you can't go to decision with me, you have to knock me out in the second round. Like, so all of a sudden there starts to be these handicaps where us as gamblers, if we're playing a Magic game and they're not, let's play in a world that they're not setting all the sports up, are we, with our gambling, once our currency is involved, it always is the other side of the win for
The
them.
parlay card of it all.
So that's why if you look at things in fighting, this is like an interesting thing that my conspiracy theorist head, it like makes me fume, is a new way that they cover their ass if a decision fight goes to decision and you're like, well, this is an obvious robbery. Like, everybody watching it, even like Dana White himself comes on and he's like, I think the other guy won. And we look at all the stats. We're like, the other guy won everywhere. This is bizarre. But this is what they use now in boxing and fighting: significant strikes. Because once I call it significant, I've taken away, now it's a biased decision on what I consider significant. So if I want to cover my ass in Vegas because everyone just saw the fucking, like, this just rolled in, this is bullshit, everyone, oh, well, who had more significant strikes? And so then it's like how they skew everything toward their fake gambling.
Yeah, like what if your whole fighting style is death of 1,000 cuts,
Yeah.
right? Like there won't be any significant strike, but like that's kind of like a Bruce Lee versus like a Zangief sort of situation, I guess.
Yeah, it's very, or it's just who calls it significant. So it's like maybe just Thomas didn't think like his head didn't go back all the way. It looked hard, but he didn't react to it. It just becomes a like, no, did he strike him or did he not strike him? Is it black or is it white? This is where it gets back to those things. There's no like question in between.
I would say to be fair, Dana White also usually follows this up with like, and that's why you need a knockout. That's why you need to go for like the tap out, the choke out. Like, don't ever leave it up to the judges, because the judges is just throwing freaking bones at the wall, right?
Is that maybe a thing for us? Like, don't leave it up to the judges.
Shit, I feel like that message was for me. That was an omen, and I have to write it down.
Don't leave it up to the judges. Do you guys have any other forms of divination? Do you think podcasting or broadcasting or spell casting, do you think it's all divination?
Oh, absolutely. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We never even touched on, astromancy
and palms.
Yeah.
That's
Oh
why
my
I
God, we
asked
could
you.
go on.
That's why I asked you what fingertip, because we were looking into palmistry, and I was naive thinking I knew, and then it was like, oh, each finger represents a different planet, and so then if we were collectively doing a spell, we all might prick a different finger depending on what our astral chart says to mix in it together, which could be different depending on who's in the room. And this is how powerful like Coventry gets. Is like, what blood are you taking from where, if everything's attached to an energy or a planet?
Oh, when we were talking about it in the group chat.
Yeah, that's what was blowing my mind. Y'all, I just thought palmistry my whole life was where your fingers bend, like the lines on your hand. I had no idea.
Yeah,
It's like I
the
fell into a
palm
rabbit
mounts
hole
and
that
all
kept
that,
me up
yeah.
till like way too late last night.
Yeah, and it just came out of nowhere in my head. I was like, wait a minute, but each finger represents a planet. So all these
Yeah.
girls cutting their fingers, Kim Kardashian, Kate.
Oh, this is why it came up, because I said to Layla, but because she said, or Abby, what's up with Britney's, or Layla said, what's up with Britney's finger? Then Abby said Kim Kardashian cut her finger like that too.
Same
And I
fingers.
said,
and Kate.
and I said,
Kate.
and Kate, and I was like, but it's not the Marina fingers. And Layla was like, but that's just that finger and that power of like cut your finger and eat the blood. All the fingers
Saturn
represent
finger.
something different. So the one that like Marina says to do is a certain thing, but the one all these girls are doing are different energies.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh shit, I had no idea.
And then Kim Kardashian's video with her fingers, she said, "I sacrificed my fingers for beauty."
Yeah, and
But then
breaks
there's
her
Kate
finger and rubs her both
and
of her eyes.
Brittany, all the same fingers.
Yeah.
So it was probably definitely, like you said, Janie, it was a beauty spell, like, for them.
It makes sense though, like in this Dionysus way, if after we get out of the Super Bowl and then we go into the Oscar rituals, we're in this fertility realm leading up to Ishtar, that they're all beautifying themselves for ceremony. And it seems like if they were in this one of the nomad type ways of Dionysus, it would all be about beauty and blood. This would all be about beauty and blood right now. They are getting their wombs ready for moon children because they all need to get pregnant during Ishtar time to have babies at Christmas time.
It makes sense to me in my head. Why else would they do it?
So are
Why
we going
else?
to watch Brittany and like all these girls that we watch with these same two fingers cut? Are they all doing fertility rituals?
Yeah.
They're
And
doing
then
something.
and
Or
then
Brittany's just pointing it out. That's what it's like. Or is Brittany just talking to us, telling us we need to watch the fingers? Because,
that could be
because it's
that
Brittany.
too, because she's KGB.
Is there like a Britneyomancy?
There
Like-
is. Yeah, that's my
Yeah.
favorite form of divination. It's like Brittany lets us know what's up.
Yeah, she wore white in her last post that I saw.
She did.
When I was supposed to get up, Brittany takes herself off Instagram and everybody's like, Brittany's account's down. And I'm like, she has no theme. She has no theme until we tell her what this week's going to be. And so
And
she
then
had
she
to take it
turned
down
it
because
back
we
on.
didn't get it up soon enough. And then right when we got it up, she turned it back on.
Yeah, it's just weird coincidences with her.
But it's just
Very.
fancy.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if like, is she real? Is she not real? What account is she? Where is she going to turn up? Is it her TikTok today? Is it her X account? Who's following her? I bet Summer is.
Brittany is in everything.
She's my favorite conspiracy. I've decided Brittany's my favorite conspiracy.
Yeah.
She's in my top 3. Time traveling Trump is like, it's
It is.
gold.
Yeah.
Juicy gold.
It is good.
But my other top 3, I've decided my number 1 favorite conspiracy. And I don't know if I created it, which I'm okay with. I think Michael Jackson's Q. It's my number 1 favorite conspiracy, followed by time traveling Trump, and then whatever's going on with Britney.
Well, there's a whole
Whatever's going on with
conspiracy with
Britney.
Michael Jackson and him dying in 1980 something, and they buried his body on some part of his whole wonderland that he created where his home is, and they undug his body and matched his his dental records from the time with that, and it supposedly matched. So I don't know if it's true or not, but that's another
and also
conspiracy.
if Michael Jackson were to be reborn as like a new Jackson, wouldn't that make him the J6?
Oh, and he would
Like
come
a
up
G6.
well,
Wrong
J6.
letter.
That was one of my first albums. I had like a Jackson 5 album and Thriller. My parents got me Thriller for one Christmas, but it was like a few years too late. It's like how every pop song, I'm like, have you guys heard this Katy Perry Fireworks song? It is. And everyone's like, are you fucking serious right now? I'm like, you guys, have you heard Adele? Like, for real, when I really came to people and I was like, oh my gosh, Amy Winehouse's album, and I found out she was dead, I was like,
Oh yeah.
that's how I met Mac Miller too. I was like, oh my gosh, this kid is awesome. And then I'm like, oh.
Some people
When's he
say
coming to Orlando next?
I know. I'm like, I wonder if anybody else knows about this guy. That's what I remember. Here's the dumbest thing though that I ever thought. When I first heard Poker Face by Lady Gaga, I remember sitting in my room smoking a blunt with friends of mine, and I was like, this is a one-hit wonder if I ever heard it.
You know what's funny?
Same.
They
But I
say
wasn't
that
even thinking of a poker face, even though I'm a Nevada girl. I was just thinking poke her face. And I was like, why the fuck would she sing that song? That's the stupidest shit I ever heard.
they say
Like,
Lady Gaga is Amy Winehouse now. It's like they're like, oh my God, she's not really dead. She's now Lady Gaga, and she went through like her death phase and reborn as a new character.
You know how there's no new thing under
Right.
the sun, and they tell us there's nothing new under the sun.
Mhm.
I feel like this is what I'll say about all these fucking silly conspiracy theories. Good on them. They
Yeah.
invented something new under the sun. Every single day that I turn on, there's somebody like, oh my gosh, everything's already been discovered. Let me make up something new. And it's so like out there that I'm just like, well, I didn't think
Maybe.
I'd hear this one. That
Yeah, I was surprised. I'm like, I mean, I see the similarities with her old nose and whatnot, but I don't know if I believe that one.
What about this one? I'm gonna create it right now.
Hmm.
Every celebrity from Kim Kardashian to Madonna is just doing the best their face can do at becoming Megan Fox. And then Megan Fox doesn't look like herself anymore, but they all look like they're morphing to the same version of what she once was. But if like the three of if all five of us in this room tried to put on a Megan Fox mask, it would look a little different on all of us.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like the celebrities look like Madonna and Kim Kardashian, like they're all just becoming the same morph of some kind of.
Even Angelina Jolie, a lot of them wanted to be her and try to look like her in Hollywood with the big lips and seductive, sultry, whatever look. They all try to want to look like this copycat version. I don't know.
I got a weird.
Now it's the Kardashian.
I got a conspiracy theory for this that I think is maybe related. You guys might all just be like, "Oh yeah, no, that's actually how it is," and I'm just discovering this for the first time. But what if all of the plastic surgeons kind of get together and they figure out like what's the easiest thing that we can do that's like we can just standardize, like how can we standardize this widget so that everyone wants, this kind of fat taken out from this area so that we can just kind of mass order all the implants and we can just get the same ones. We don't have to fight and figure this stuff out and then start pushing it and then identify the celebrities that maybe have the bone structures or the shapes that are the easiest to reproduce artificially and put them out there just because it'll just be, payday nonstop for all the plastic surgeons. So there's like an incentive to make everyone not just look the same, but to make people want a desire to be like, I want to look like that. And now it's like, well, that's silly. You can't look like Grace Kelly. You can't look like Marilyn Monroe. You know who you can look like is whatever that cat person looks like. Like we can do that.
Homogenous.
Yeah, so they
and Kim Kardashian was actually really popular with the plastic surgeons, and she was like one of the pawns for that. And everybody wanted a big ass all of a sudden. So she was a major part of that whole scheme.
Don't get a BBL. Just hire me as your coach, and I will help
Yeah.
you build your own ass.
Yeah.
It's even better.
I think there
Don't
is
look out of
definitely
place.
something to the plastic surgery, and then also the plastic surgery eventually becomes the AI. And so if the plastic surgery can
Yes.
slowly get us to break our uncanny valley, not just looking at people's faces, but people's bodies. And so if everyone becomes Pamela Anderson, because this is the first Kim Kardashian, I think everyone becomes Pamela Anderson. And then they now, with the Kim Kardashian thing, they also have all the men becoming it too. So it breaks our uncanny valley. All the filters make us the same. We have Kim Kardashian filters and fucking like Megan Fox fucking lips and whatever. And so it all makes us the same. And now we're seeing each other that way. We're not seeing the real representations of anyone at all. We're trapped inside our houses. We were supposed to still be wearing masks. So gosh, we would think each other so ugly if we all look like Megan Fox all the time, and then you see me in real life, you're like, oh, I thought you were gonna look like Megan Fox, and then we're all narcissists. We're becoming narcissists, so I thought you were gonna look like Megan Fox. In turn, we're both just, oh, I thought you were gonna look more like me.
Do you think it started with Marilyn Monroe? Or was there some icon before that started that? Like everyone wanting to look like a perfect.
Well, I think that's always been the case, but it's only been fairly recently when a doctor could be like, well, for the right amount of money, I can give you that particular look. And I don't think that any like look that a doctor could give anyone that. Maybe there's some crafted out there, but I'm just saying that if a bunch of mediocre doctors got together and they're like, we can't pull off the Marilyn Monroe look. We can pull off the Megan Fox look. Let's start pushing the Megan Fox. It's almost like Supercuts all gets together and they're like, guys, no more Flock of Seagulls haircuts. It just takes too much hairspray. That might be a dated reference. It was like, we need to just start pushing bowl cuts. You know how easy a bowl cut is? Pop, pop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hmm.
It totally is that way.
Strange.
Starting to push like easy. They're like beards. Beards are all in. It's so funny that to me that this is how dumb the world is. Beards were legitimately in at the same time people wear masks. And people just had masks over their beards, and other people were like, I feel safer.
Yeah, they
What?
had masks. They had fish bowls, plastic bags,
Speaking of ugly people,
snorkels.
That's
PK in the chat said, how many people have you met off podcasting? Are they uglier in person? And I gotta say, Thomas is really cute in person. Just throwing that out there.
I agree.
So you are.
and me and Layla are like, yeah.
That wasn't a flirt, I promise, Thomas. I'm just saying it.
So you guys, I think she just said that Layla and I are uglier in person, and Thomas is
I heard that
more
too.
I think you guys
I
look
wanna say
exactly
that
what you look like, though. I think you guys
I
look exactly
heard.
like what. I think you guys look beautiful, and you look
But
exactly how
Thomas
you look.
doesn't look like himself.
No,
No,
Thomas looks better, don't you think?
Yeah, Thomas looks better in person, for
I
real.
put it on a
Yeah.
front.
Yeah,
You do.
yeah,
I think Thomas looked exactly what I thought he was going to look like.
Really?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like
You
I
guys
see
didn't
him, but
realize
it's
I was
just
7
different.
foot tall, though. No one expected that.
Yeah, I didn't expect that. I was like, holy shit. I was like, he's a big boy.
Because
How
not a
tall
lot
are you?
of people are taller than Layla.
Yeah, he's I'm like 5'10", 5'11", so I don't know. What are you, like 6'3", 6'5"?
7 foot.
7?
Nephilim.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
No, I'm 6'1".
Oh, okay.
6'1".
Man, that was fun, though.
6'1".
The whole meetup. I can't wait till we do another one.
Well, I mean, the next Florida one at least. Like, I'm down for Salem, maybe if I can afford it when it comes around. But I mean, Cheney was talking about Barnum and Bailey, so I want to just throw out Ringling. That would be a really easy one.
Yeah.
Oh,
That'd be cool.
to go to the Ringling Brothers Circus?
No, Ringling Brother Museum is here. I think it's
Oh,
right
the
outside
museum?
of Sarasota in Florida.
You know, there's a Navy Florida or a Navy museum I want to get to one day. My grandfather's in that. I think it's in.
Cape Canaveral
Yeah, it's Cape Canaveral. Yeah.
or Jacksonville. It's one of the two. They both have really big naval
sure.
presence.
I can't
But
remember.
I think
Anyway.
Old World Florida, speaking of Dr. Narco Longo, he does
Mm.
a lot of really great shows on
well.
the elephants of Florida.
Mm.
You can find those on his channels.
Oh, interesting.
Elephants?
The elephants of Florida.
I love elephants. That sounds
Yeah.
interesting. Elephants of Florida.
It's extra interesting because it's really the only proof that men were alive with like woolly mammoth or whatever
Yeah.
you want to call him is the Vero man, but the museums wouldn't allow it in, and so you have this proof that if these animals were hunted or corralled or whatever, they eventually hunted them to the peninsula, and then Miami had their own elephants for a long time. They're written about in the lore. There's tons of giants and things like that, and so
This is where Dumbo comes from too. I don't if everyone ever watches the opening of the original Dumbo animation and they're flying around, that's basically where they're stationed, is in Florida.
Oh wow.
Like Miami, Florida.
That is, and if I saw an elephant fly and they redid that whole thing.
Oh, I
that
would
was
love that.
fly.
I love that. I once saw a toilet bowl. I once saw a rubber band.
Yeah, Dumbo was definitely one of the
What is
ones
it called?
that.
Oh, but I've been unseen about everything when I see an elephant fly.
I know it was racist. They took that out.
I know. Why is that racist?
because they were
Well,
black crows.
What black
it's just like
crows?
them
Whatever.
removing all colored people off of food
Change.
labels. It's like
What are you
it's
gonna
all white
change?
people are
Jazz?
left on it because that was racist, right? Like
You're gonna change the
Aunt
blues?
Jemima was racist, and the Indian on the Land O'Lakes butter was racist. But now we're left with fucking Quaker Oats guy and all of that shit. We're left with all white people.
Mm-hmm.
Have any of you ever seen the? I mean, this is juvenile, but the like turning the Land O'Lakes lady's knees into her boobs.
Oh, totally.
No.
Have you seen this? Is this just like a guy
Absolutely.
thing?
7 o'clock.
This is
7 years old,
Are you
man.
talking about
Dude,
Bob
used to do
Saga and the
that.
Land O'Lakes lady?
No,
I
so this is like a rite of passage for
You
I
make
think
tits.
like 7-year-old boys in America. But you take the Land O'Lakes lady and you take an X-Acto knife and you cut out the butter so it folds down because she's holding it like right in her chest, and then you cut out her knees and you put the knees right behind the butter. So when you fold the butter down, she's flashing you.
Oh,
my
how's
God.
sad? You can't do
I-
that
How
anymore.
have you never heard of that
Gosh.
before? It's crazy.
I feel like this
For
is like
girls?
a thing that only boys know, and none of them told me,
Yeah.
and I'm a
Yeah, that's
lesbian.
it.
And now I'm
You're
like
missing
really
out.
butthurt that
I
I'm never gonna
know.
see that in
Nobody
real
said
life.
anything?
I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh my.
No.
Okay, new T-shirt.
Yeah.
You know how the Obama logo is like the O?
Oh my God.
I feel like we could do Michelle Obama like this and
Yeah, we
then
can.
have
And
tits
say,
on
"I'm a girl."
picture. But instead of tits on a picture, we can have a dick on a picture where we just cut out our knee and put it there.
Oh God.
They did like hot dogs, right? Isn't that Obama's thing? Is ordering like $10,000 or $50,000 worth of hot dogs?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like
I feel like
To the
this
White
is like
House.
putting
Michelle
your
Franks.
wallet in your back pocket. Like straight men didn't tell me about this until it was like, what? Ah,
I
Yeah, that's
know.
freaking hilarious.
I know the things how did we not know? I feel like we broke some kind of magic code.
Well, I used to do that as a kid when I didn't have any boobs
The
and I had
original
a
LOL.
T-shirt. Like you would take your T-shirt and put your knees up like this when you're a kid because you're more flexible, and then you put them by your chest and it looks like you had boobs. And we would do that as like little kids with our
I would
big
do that when I
T-shirts.
was cold.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, I'm getting a cramp.
All right. Uh-oh. You know what that means. It's probably time. Does anyone have anything to drop before we head on out of here today?
Yeah.
I've got a big one. We
Okay, let's do it.
launched chosenwan.com. This is the issue 2 of the Chosen One. We set a goal of $1,500. That was the bare minimum just to get enough to have it printed, and we blew past that in like 3.5 hours. And it's already
Badass.
like getting bigger and better. So now the next goals are going to be to get the 3rd issue in production, which is going to have, I think Dona is going to make an appearance, is what Juan's been saying. Gordo is already in it because we already got a cover with Gordo from the Conspiracy Guys. I don't know, maybe an open invitation if anyone wants to be in a comic book.
And there is a spot you can find that on the Kickstarter if you guys want to. And there's all sets of tiers. I did purchase my cover of Primetime 99 Alex Stein Pimp on a Blimp. And I saw you guys talking about that today. And it looks like the Silence of the Lambs cover, a little bit of Jodie Foster where she has the, moth on her mouth.
Yeah, the death head moth, and that's because that's Alex's favorite. We're trying to get Alex to promote it too, but apparently, like Blaze TV owns his likeness. They own his little ass, so like he has to get permission to like promote it because it's got his likeness. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
It's awesome. He'll probably do it in a little while. I know he blew up.
He got huge. When we first started this, the whole joke was that in order to get into like the secret society of podcasters, which is what the issue 2 is about, the secret society of pod gods, is that once you hit like 100,000 followers, that you're in, right? And then I think he was right around like 90,000 followers on any of the, like his biggest networks. And then right after we started and we put his likeness in it, the dude just like exploded. And now 100,000 would kind of be like a tragedy for him if he lost all that.
I know it is kind of crazy, but I will say he just leaned into his authenticity the whole time. Like he just kept leaning into his weird and weird and weird. And like I remember talking to that dude before he'd do one of his stunts and he'd be like, have to get himself into character, almost in that way. Like we were talking about, like, can you hypnotize yourself? I felt like I watched this guy sometimes hypnotize himself and like take himself into like pretty epic situations that I was like, I cannot believe he's doing this right now. And he just had one video go viral once because he wore like a sex ball to a store where it was like you have to wear a mask to go in. And now he has literally he's at any city council and Donald Trump calls him on his phone to yell at the city councils. Like what? And it's just like the amount of times he's told me that, like, just to keep putting it out there because we were in such this like very scared PC world. And so he would be around people that he grew up in Texas. And so people were like, oh my gosh, you're not allowed to say that to black people. Oh my gosh, you're not allowed to say that to brown people. Oh my gosh, you're not allowed to say that to ladies. And he said it all. And now he is what he is. So big up him.
Yeah, shout out to Alex Stein.
Alex Stein. Yeah. Okay. Do you guys have anything or are we getting out of here?
I have 13% battery. I'm just glad I made it through.
Gordy just had to throw that number 13 in there.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
You're welcome.
It's perfect. And because I don't have it already stored, it won't say, can you save us, Britney Spears? Can we be saved? But I have to save it once for the meme magic of it all. But yeah, come see us 3:30. But we'll be on Friday before then. So we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Constantly explore the view of possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys. Good guys, good guys, good guys. Witches, weirdos, mega mystics, entertaining, calling linguists. Good guys. Forum of decorum needs a secretive society. Advent on philosophies, intentionally, magically good guys, good guys, good guys, good guys. Witches, weirdos, mischief making, it's okay to change your thinking. Good guys, good guys, good guys. Hey everybody. Who loves and supports the Secret Society of Good Guys. I just wanted to let you know that March 30th, which is next Saturday, I am going to be at the Joke Joint in Summerfield, Florida. I'm going to be doing 2 shows. First show is going to be a little podcast with some of the best of the best, the Nephilim Death Squad, Paranoid American. Cheney might show up. What? It's going to be a banger. And then after that, night of stand-up comedy, 2 shows. We got 5 o'clock and I believe at 8 o'clock. So come out, rock and roll, go to Sam Tripoli, grab some tickets now. Come see all your favorite truthers all in one place. Let's go.
Come on down, come on. You bring the magic staff and I'll bring the sin. Nobody knows about the trouble we're in. Come on in, let's make some Nephilim.
It's the Nephilim Portal Baby playset. Comes with a fallen angel, Nephilim baby, and portal to another dimension. One of the Paranoid American playsets. Collect them all at paranoidamerican.com.
Disclaimer. These are custom